Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. What is up? What is up? What is up? Everybody, welcome to the biggest late night crypto show in the world. Lyndon, what up, bro?
Yo, what's poppin', man?
Hey, man. You know, we were just working through some technical difficulties, you know. You know how it is sometimes, man. It happens. We're working on it, bro. We're working every week. We're getting better.
Man. We just gonna create our own fucking shit is what we about to do.
We doing it our way. You know, shit scuffs sometimes.
Hey, facts.
You know? I mean, I think that's, you know, probably gonna be one of the coolest parts when we hit 100,000 subscribers. We're gonna be able to look back and be like, so yeah. Look at our look at where we were at you know, a month ago. Cause hey, we might hit 100,000 next month at this rate, bro. It's insane.
Yo, let's do that shit, please.
Late night crypto show in the freaking world, man. Lyndon, it feels good, man.
Yeah, it does. It really does, bro.
It does. It really is just incredible. Like, I think one of the most incredible things about doing this show is the support.
Yeah, bro. No joke. It is mass support from a lot of fucking people, bro.
The support is nuts, bro.
It's what makes it worth it.
It does. It does. Like, without the community, I don't know, man. It's like we wouldn't even have a show, bro.
It would be different. Yeah.
It'd be different. It'd be a different vibe. So
very different.
If you're tuning in right now, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, say what's up. Let's light the chat up. Let's start off this stream by lighting up the chat, smashing the thumbs up button. Lyndon, do you think we can beat our record tonight, bro?
Yo, I think we could, man. The way the last live stream went off, bro, that shit was nuts, dog. That shit was fun though. That shit was so fun. But I was like, oh shit.
It was.
Yo, growth is crazy.
The growth is sickening. It really is. Before we go ahead and get started, man, do we have a show tonight, dude? My friends, there's some big shit that just went down the other day in the crypto world, okay? Some big stuff. You need to know about this, man. You have to. If you're in crypto, you have to know what's going on in the crypto world, okay? That's why we're bringing you the news. We're bringing you the laughs, the vibes, and we're also bringing you the hardcore value here on this show. So thanks for being here, everybody. Yo, Steph says, what's up from Chile, Australia? You know, I love this time of the year. Lyndon, do you know why?
Why is that?
Because for us, it's summer, and for Steph and the rest of the Aussies, it's fucking winter. Okay?
That's true.
And I remember it was winter here. And I was freezing, bro. And Steph was just rubbing it in like, ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha. It's 90 degrees Fahrenheit here. Ha, ha, ha. Going to the beach. Well, enjoy that cold weather, Steph.
Now it's flipped.
And then fuck off. Because it's like 95. No, I'm just kidding. No, Steph is the biggest ball breaker of this community. I got to say.
Nice.
Yo, Bryce, what's up? Natasha, welcome. What up, Brenna? Welcome to the broadcast. John, Carlos. All right, everybody. Thank you so much again. And what's up to everybody on YouTube? Yo, Hector, what up, what up, what up? Lyndon, what's our sub goal tonight, bro?
Man, what are we sitting at? We sitting at 112 right now. We had somebody join before we went live. That was dope. So I want to do, I'm saying, let me see, sub goal. I want to be optimistic, bro. You think we could do I feel like I know we could do 120. Feeling good.
What? 120? All right, guys, listen.
All right, you know what? All right, 10,000. Fuck it. 10,000.
Fuck it.
Tonight.
Guys, let's go ahead and set a sub goal for 130 subscribers. 130. We can hit 130 tonight. Come on.
I think we can hit 130.
The other night we were at 80 subscribers. You guys showed love. So if you're not over on YouTube, We're live right now. The YouTube was so live the other night, it was sickening. It
Bruh.
really was. Brian on YouTube says 6,000 BTC.
Yeah.
Bitcoin just crossed 6,000 doll hairs.
Bruh.
That's a lot of doll hairs, bro.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, okay, I saw it. It kept going back and forth. It kept teeter-tottering. I was wondering was it going to tip over the edge. I was hoping it was going to tip over the edge while we were live on the stream. It was a little early, but we got it. We went over 6K. I'm happy. Shit.
Hey, yo, Atlas. What is it? Alt test. Thank you so much for subscribing over on the YouTube channel. Bro, Brenna says that she wants a shout out from you, that she hasn't had one. What's going on?
For me?
Yeah.
For me? Yo, let me give a big ass shout out to Brenna then.
Brenna Bennett. Shout out. Always
Hey.
showing love, man. Always showing love. So we do have some pretty cool news to go over tonight. Definitely talking about this most recent Binance hack. Did Binance get hacked? Is it a hoax? Find out tonight.
Find out.
There's a lot of talk going around right now on the net that there's something shady going down.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a few things, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about it. Number 2, PayPal CFO reveals that they are working on blockchain and cryptocurrency. And you know what? I actually got that news this afternoon from from Paul McNeil over at the Crypto Curator. I got that email. If you guys aren't tuned into that newsletter, check it out because Paul sends out literally like the most important news of the day. So much shout out to Paul. He joined us on the show the other night. Super cool guy. This guy, I think he's the one guy that'll give Lyndon a run for his money when it comes to like who's more obsessed with crypto. We're gonna be talking about that, right? Number 3, we got the Bloomberg report. Fidelity will start institutional Bitcoin trading within weeks.
Yeah, that's lit.
That's pretty big news.
That's really lit. That's fucking big. That's super.
Number 4, John McAfee launches Bitcoin Play app. What the heck? I can't wait till we talk about this because I saw that you added this. Like, what is Bitcoin Play? Whatever Bitcoin Play is, I don't want nothing to fucking do with it. It just sounds fucking trash.
Bro,
what's
funny.
Bitcoin Play? Well, we gonna find out on the show. What are we talking about? I don't know. It just doesn't sound like, bro. Like you couldn't. I don't know what it is, but you couldn't come up with a better name. No, Bitcoin Play.
The name is trash.
What?
Yes.
Like you had all that time to come up with some dope shit, and you come up with Bitcoin Play,
bro.
Hey, we're talking about it, and also we have a special guest joining us on the show. We actually have a hip-hop recording artist, crypto enthusiast joining us on tonight's show, which is dope. So, Lyndon, man, who's joining us?
Yo, so this is a good friend of mine, man. Yo, he goes by the rap name of New Davinci, and he works with GVO, Good Vibes Only Collective, yo. Dude is dope, man. Dude is dope. Not only is he good at rapping, bro, this dude is fucking smart, bro. He's sharp. He knows his shit. He's definitely into crypto. I can't wait to bring him on, bro. I cannot wait to bring him on, man, and chat with him, man. He's cool as shit, bro. And it's been a minute since we like really, really chopped it up about some crypto shit. So yeah, it's going down tonight. Facts.
Guys, listen. I mean, we're just bringing so much heat on the show that you got to stick around. You have to. We're going on. We're going all night, man. When you're bored, we'll be here. You can't sleep, we'll be here.
We'll be here.
You wake up to pee at 2 a.m, we're still here.
Oh, we here.
We're here. Yo, Thomas, what's up? My Uncle Alan just joined in. What's happening? Breaking news. They named that royal baby. What?
Yeah. What they named the royal baby?
What they named the royal baby?
What did they name it? They named it Bitcoin. That's what they named it. Facts.
Megan.
Bitcoin baby. Megan.
Archie.
Pretty normal.
Harrison. Mountbatten. Windsor.
That's too many fucking names. Where did that come in?
That's a very shout out to everybody named Archie because that's that's definitely not a common
Uh,
name nowadays. But hey,
nah, it ain't.
hey,
Shout out to Archie the comic though.
hey,
Real
guy. I mean, the guy's a G. He got
hey,
born into the royal family. He's set. The kid is set for the
Gucci,
rest of his life, bro. He ain't got to worry
man.
about shit forever.
You ain't lying.
He ain't worried about nothing.
I ain't worried about it.
He don't even know it yet, which is the best
Nah.
part. Shout out to him, man. Um, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get right into the news.
Yeah.
But before we do, I ask that if you do enjoy the show, please go ahead and consider sharing this out. Okay, that's how this show grows. Plain and simple. With everybody on Facebook and everybody on YouTube, it's just really tough to get out there, right? But when the viewers, you guys, help share this out, it's finding out about the show, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you for that. If you do want to support, consider sharing this out on Facebook. Take the YouTube link, throw it in some crypto groups. Say, hey, we're live. Come hang out, right? Number two, please go ahead and like the stream if you haven't already. I see a bunch of people on Facebook haven't thumbs up the video yet. If you could please hit that thumbs up button for us, it'd really help out a lot. And on YouTube too, if you can go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Because when you like the stream, Facebook, YouTube, they see that and they're like, oh, wow, people are liking this content, right? Because either you could like it or you could dislike it. If you like it, they're like, oh, wow, you know what? People are liking this content, Lyndon. You know what? You know what we should do? We should share this out to more people because it's relevant content. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Relevant content gets more exposure. So if you haven't already, I'm going to count to 3. Everybody like the stream right now. We're going to do a like spike, all right? 1, 2, 3. Like. Help us get those likes up. All right? And thank you so much to everybody that just liked. Now, Lyndon, bro, let's go ahead and get right into the news, my man. Let's talk about this little hack. You know what's crazy about this, bro? We've been talking a lot about BNB, right? And
a shitload.
The other night I told you, remember? Yo, I think I spoke something into existence, bro.
Uh-oh.
Bro, I got to go get that clip. The other night I said, I wonder what Binance's security team looks like.
True.
Do you remember I said that?
Yeah, I remember. We were talking about it.
We just talked about that. And then the next day they get hacked for $40 million. 7,000 Bitcoin.
See, what had happened was, I don't know.
Bro, wait. So this is insane, bro. Take it away, man. What's going on here?
So to be completely honest, I have no fucking idea. Don't know. Now when I say that, I mean don't know 100%. Obviously, right? Shit could always be going on behind the scenes, right? We don't really know what's going on. So basically, the story that everybody's covering, basically, they lost 7,000 Bitcoin, equivalent to damn near $40 million, and this was not necessarily a hack in the sense of their system was hacked on the back end, right? Basically, the way they say this happened is that basically API keys, 2FA codes, and potentially other information, username, passwords, is what was basically stolen from individual users, and then that was used to compile a huge fucking list of these people's information, and then they use all of that to do a single fucking transaction, supposedly, of all of those fucking Bitcoin. Bruh, that's fucking insane. Now, the craziest thing about this story, right? Yo, the news, fucking Twitter has gone absolutely bananas with this shit, bro. Like, I have seen everybody and their mama throw out a reason as to why that didn't really happen, and now all this happened. No. This what happened was, no, they actually covering it up. What happened is they sent the transaction wrong and they lost $40 million because they were switching their Bitcoin accounts over from the regular accounts to Segwit accounts. Or no, that's not what happened. This is all a huge cover up, something to do with Tether. Bruh. if I see one more person give one more reason for why this shit happened, my mind is gonna explode, right? So, and it was funny because when I had dropped this earlier, somebody had made a comment talking about, we all know that this isn't the truth. This is fraud, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, look, at the end of the day, we really don't know what the fuck is happening behind the scenes, right? There's definitely a chance this could have been an internal mistake. This could have been a tether cover up. This could have been a lot of different things. Maybe CZ was just like, fuck it. Let me just go ahead and take 40 mil and make it look like we got a hack, right? We really don't know what the fuck is going on. So what I'm paying close attention to is who comes with facts and who comes with proof for what may have happened if it's different from the information that sits through, right? Now, I think one of the most convincing things that I've seen, right? And this is in the YouTube channel in the description. There's actually a video that was dropped on YouTube, and it's a complete fucking simplistic walkthrough on what they believe really happened, right? And basically the main thing they were talking about was that they were saying like Binance didn't get hacked, the users got hacked, basically, because it was the users' information that was compromised and stuff like that. And I mean, the dude made some valid points. He made some really good points, right? This is why all of these things are so important. But even more important than that was I saw somebody that was just like, oh shit, I thought Binance was unhackable. Yo, this right here is exactly why we always tell people never leave your shit on exchanges. Because any exchange that tells you they're unhackable, fucking run and run fast, because that's not possible. Like, at least not right now. Not at this point in time, that shit's not possible. So you have to realize only keep on the exchange what you're willing to lose, and like seriously, obviously, because it just happened. This can happen. Now, luckily, right, they have the whole SAFU funds in order to recover and pay everybody back. But think about how many different times exchanges have been hacked and that did not fucking happen. It could have been messed up.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this, right? Because I mean, this isn't the first time that you've heard about something like this happening, right?
Yeah.
With the exchanges. And
Right.
I mean, I'm not qualified. I don't know too much about hacking and the deep dark web and how stuff is actually executed. Right. Yeah. But I'd love, man, we got to get somebody on the show that does maybe some network security so we can kind of like, get some behind the scenes perspective on how this stuff works.
Facts. I'm with it.
Because going through this, right, CZ posted the screenshot, right? Where you could see the actual transaction. And I'm looking at this thing like, what? Like, what? 7,000 Bitcoin, my friends, gone. Just gone, like stolen. And let's think about that, like outside of the crypto world. $40 million, right? Well, you're not robbing a bank for $40 million, right? You're not walking into a bank and walking out with, like, where else could you steal $40 million?
Fucking crypto, bro.
Is that the answer? I mean, what, like, could you you could hack someone's personal bank account, I guess, if they had $40 million. I don't even know. Like, is that possible? I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but like,
here's the thing. If you hack somebody's bank account like that, more than likely, bro, you were probably definitely getting fucking caught.
Right. But why in the crypto world can you not get caught?
I don't think it's a matter of not getting caught. I just think it could be more difficult, right? Or because the crypto world and the blockchain world isn't as further developed. People, like, think about it, right? The amount of resources that go into if your bank account gets hacked, right, is very much different than what goes into if your cryptocurrency wallet gets hacked or if an exchange get hacked. It's looked at different, so I mean, obviously it's still illegal. You're still stealing funds, right? But the infrastructure of that world is very different from the traditional banking world. That's
of course.
obvious. Yeah.
But when it comes to like IP addresses, and I mean, you got to think like the team at Binance is probably, they're some of the best computer wizards that the world has ever seen, right? Like
Yeah.
Binance, you would assume, would only hire the best of the best, right?
Nah, I wouldn't
No.
even say that. No, because here's the thing, right? Cybersecurity is something that can be totally different from actually developing blockchain, right? So, do we know what the security infrastructure looks like for Binance, for Coinbase, for any of these exchanges really? What things, I mean, think about it. Knowing the security protocols that should be in place for a money transmitter of this size, and yes, I'm fucking calling exchanges money transmitters because that's pretty much what the fuck they are. Um, there has to be a certain level of security in place in order fights for municipalities and small cities and things like that. Bro, the amount of money and resources they put into security was absolutely fucking bananas. Like, I mean, it was insane. Like, I was working hand in hand with the head of their security department and having conversations with this individual. And he was the first person I ever talked to that really gave me a realistic perspective of one, how much time, energy, and resources it takes, but two, how much fucking money it really takes in order to have something secure. Like, and it's massive, bro. Like, it's crazy. And when I think about these exchanges and the rapid rate that they're growing at, I'm just saying, from a lot of other stuff that I've seen in crypto, for as many of these different hacks and things that I see happen, it is really hard for me to believe that an exchange like Binance would have the security infrastructure or the security setup, or even people on their team that have the knowledge of somebody who is working for a traditional bank, or even say a traditional company in general that's not even a bank, but understand security in general of data and things like that. So,
Man, I don't know anything about anything that has to do with network security. But here's what I'll tell you, man. That's a pretty nasty blow for crypto, bro.
it is.
You don't want to hear stuff like that. I mean,
Nah, you don't.
that's a serious deal, my friends. But
Mhm.
for those of you that don't know, so apparently there's a fund, right, where they kind of planned for this
Yeah.
to happen. Is that right? Like they have a backup.
Essentially.
I mean, I read something in the article that said that this was only like a few percent of what their actual BTC holdings are.
Yeah, that's the even crazier part. Facts.
I mean, my friends, like wrap your head around that, right? So
Two
let me.
percent,
It was 2% of what their Bitcoin holding. Are
40
you
million.
are you
40
kidding me? 2%? Yo, imagine you
bro.
lost 2% of your money and it was equal to $40 million. Like,
Yo, we
uh,
would have Crypto Legends Island if
two
that's what it was.
percent. Wait, so who's good at math? So how much does that mean their whole fund has? If
Oh
40 million
shit.
is 2%,
I'm gonna do the math right
what's 100%? Colin says 2%. Carlos said this is what we need: regulation and oversight. This freaking exchange is in Malta. Hello, man.
now. Dog, it's it's
2 billion, says Colin. $2 billion.
yes. That's insane, bro.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yo,
I don't know, dude.
it's but
Yo,
I
like,
mean,
can you kick me like 0.00001%?
right.
Yo, hackers. If any hackers are watching this right now, I'm not condoning your activities, but you know what I'm saying? Like a little 0.0000002%.
Bro,
I ain't gonna be mad at you.
like, let me get that, please.
Bro, what kind of person knows how to pull off a hack like this?
A
Jeez.
patient ass person, a really patient person. Facts.
I think that's fucked up, dude. It's just like there's
True.
people in this world that just do some fucked up shit. I
Man,
think
that's
that's
fact.
fucked up, man. Like,
It is. I mean, thieving ain't the shit, man. But people do that shit.
I
That's some,
know,
some
I
people.
know.
That's
It's
that's
just
their day job, bro.
it's fucked up, man. If you ask
Yeah.
me, what do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys
Facts.
think about this hack here? This $40 million hack, 7,000 Bitcoin was hacked from Binance, right?
Man.
Imagine if that was you. Imagine if you logged in and your account was empty. Zero.
$40 million, bro.
Shit. Whether it's $100, $1,000. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been hacked before, thank goodness, right? I mean, you hear about it, right? You hear about these gas station skimmers. You hear about network security.
Yeah.
Like, did you know? And this is just what I've read, but that anytime you're in public, anytime you hook up your phone to Wi-Fi, you're immediately vulnerable to cyber hacks.
Yeah. Facts.
Like, people can literally just steal all your shit being on a network. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Sucks.
Imagine if you're a grown-ass man relying on digital currency. Sam Fisher. I don't know, man. Relying on digital currency. Who's relying on digital currency? I mean, what are you relying on? Yeah. I mean, when I check my bank account, I mean, I don't use cash. So, I mean, it's all digital, right?
Yeah, that's still digital.
Because the only thing that says that you have any money at all in your bank account is the bank saying you do. Like, that's it.
Thank you.
Like, when you go to the bank and you put your money in the bank, they don't put that shit in a box and wait for you to come get it. Like, no, they lend it out and make money on the money that you're giving them. Exactly. Right? They lend it out a bunch of times. So it's like, really, like, essentially you broke. Everyone's broke, right? Unless you have gold.
Yeah.
But then you have the bank saying, okay, we're insured, and yes, you did give us money, so we're right. We have, when you want your money, it's there. Like, essentially, right? And then there's so many like regulations on banking. Like, dude, I don't like the fact that if I want to go take $10,000 of my own money out of my bank account, they give me a hard time. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. And I have to like show my ID and sign like an IRS form. Like, it's my money, bro. Like,
it's like, yo, why do I have to what? I got to do what for this?
Yeah, it's my money. Like,
it's my shit.
It's mine. Like, who are you to tell me I can't take out my own money? Yeah. I don't know, dude. Sam says true. I mean, it's all digital in a sense, right? We live in a digital world. Yeah. That is exactly what CZ did with so too bad is only 2%. So explain this whole Safu?
Yeah.
So explain this. So the fund, right?
Yeah, so it's basically basically a fund that they have in place, basically basically that can take on incidents like this. So in case things are basically if things are compromised, if their exchange is hacked or whatever the case may be, they can basically dip into this fund and it doesn't interrupt anything that's going on.
So it's the secure asset fund for users. Yeah. The fund consists of 10% of all trading fees absorbed by the exchange and was initially launched to protect Binance users in extreme cases. It is stored in its own cold wallet. Yo, can you imagine going to sleep that night, like CZ going to sleep, like, fuck, like, fuck. Bro, it feels bad, man.
But you know what's crazy, though, is that they probably have so much money. They have access to so much money that this probably isn't that big of a fucking deal to them. And I think that's the even crazier thing. Like, you know what made me fucking laugh, bro? I died is when I laughed when I saw Justin's son jump on. It was like, yo, don't even trip, bro. I got you. I'll send over the 7,000 Bitcoin. Like, that's basically what he said. That's not what he said verbatim. That's pretty much what he said. Like, I don't even worry, bro. I got you. It's like, so you just got 7,000 Bitcoin just chilling,
right?
That what we do? Can I get a little bit of that? Can I get a payday loan?
Wicked, wicked, man. 2019 is a hell of a digital drug. Hey, man. And it's
Yeah.
only getting started. It's
Facts.
only getting started, okay? Like, if you really think about how far we've came with technology over the last 10 years, I
Yeah.
predict in 10 to 20 years that
Yep.
these won't even be a thing anymore. It's going to be something completely different.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
These are going to be, I don't think we're going to be using these in the future. Because think about it, like, how
Yeah.
much, like, what would come after this? Like, how thin can you get a phone? How small can you get
in your arm?
It'll be in your arm. It'll
You are the
just,
phone,
you are the phone. You're going to be able to be the phone.
bruh.
They're going to be able to hook something up to your eyes where you can just be on your phone all day. Because that's what people do anyways, right?
Nah, bro. The way Android be glitching, I'm good. If they start, like, I could really see that, like them trying to find a way to integrate cell phone technology closer to you to the point to where it gets like it's literally in you or some crazy shit. And
I
yo,
mean,
if
it
we
makes
get,
sense. They do pacemakers, right?
bro, I'm going back to fucking cups and strings. Then fuck all that. I ain't putting shit in me, bro.
I'm the first one, dude. Sign me up, bro.
Hell no.
I don't
What?
give a fuck.
I can't, dude. I can't.
Why?
Hell no. No. What,
Yo,
bruh? Do I look like RoboCop to you?
I'll be RoboCop.
Said nah, bro. I can't, dog. I already don't trust way too much of what these companies are doing when it's not inside my body. I'm not finna what? Nah, what? They'll fuck around and be like, "Oops, my bad. We meant to give you that Android upgrade, but we accidentally gave you Ebola."
Bro,
Like what? Nah, hell nah.
bro,
Nope.
listen. There's gonna come a time where you're not gonna have a choice, bro.
Yeah, then
It's gonna
I'm
be like Apple, right? Where they're like, if you don't upgrade, you can't use this software anymore because it's not compatible. They're gonna just come to you
man.
and say, Lyndon, you're no longer compatible with society. You're outdated. We need you
Cool.
to upgrade.
All right, I'm going to the woods. I'll let y'all, man. I'll be out here with my homies in
Hey.
the woods because got me fucked up. Negative, never.
Oh shit, man, that's funny. I remember when
North
the
Korea, here I
WWE went
come.
live.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Steph, right? I remember when the WWE went live. It was like, what the fuck is it? Dude, it's wicked. Like, it really just blows my mind.
It is insane.
And we're going to go on to the second news story of the night. Let us know who's here right now. Who's live on a Wednesday night? This is the late night crypto show. It's the largest, the biggest, the best late night crypto show in the world. Linda, do you know why it's the biggest, best, and largest crypto late night show in the world?
I might have an idea. Maybe. Why?
Because it's the only late night
Hey.
crypto show in the world, baby. Let's go. It's the only one that exists. You're here with us live. I don't know, man. It's exciting. Like, you know, one thing that really blows my mind, dude. Like, I cannot wrap my head around this.
What's up?
Okay, so I love, you know, learning about how things were invented and you know how things came to be.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind, dude. Like how people just invent shit, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
So what blows my mind is how somebody figured out that if you take like a motherboard, right, and you put like circuits or whatever the fuck, and you just hook it all up together, right?
Yeah.
And you connect it to this thing that's like it's a screen, but like what really is a screen? How many people can really answer that? Who knows what a screen is? Do you know what a screen is? I don't know.
Carlos knows.
It
So
just like, what is a screen? Right? And then it just shit just shows up on this screen. But if you look at a hard drive, it's like, what are you looking at? Like who figured this out? Right? Like who figured this shit out? It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then you get these these images displayed on a screen.
Yeah.
Who figured this out? I want to know.
Yo, some really smart ass motherfuckers.
But
Really.
it's like, how do you even become that smart to say, if we put all of these 10,000 components together, we'll get an image on the screen?
Yo, they take trend setting to a whole new level.
It's
Yo,
it's bananas.
yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Like I was looking at one of my hard drives the other day. It's things like this small, right?
Yeah,
It's a terabyte of data, right? It's like,
yeah.
how do you fit that much information on
That's
a thing that can fit in my pocket? Like I could store like half my life on this little thing in my pocket. It's things that you just
Yo,
you don't think about these things, you know?
facts, facts.
Most people don't know how shit really works. They just use it. Like they don't know
Yeah,
the
facts.
functionality.
It's true. Blockchain's not gonna be any fucking different.
Who knows how
That's
a
for
cell
sure.
phone works? How does a cell
Yeah.
phone work?
Oh, easy. You just fucking save a contact in there. Hit the hit the call button, the green button. The green button that looks like a phone, and then it calls. Wow.
Nobody knows. Kids don't know nowadays. It just happens. You call, someone else is on the other end. How does it work? Nobody fucking knows. It just does. It's amazing. Um
Oh man.
Brian says technology and innovation. Hey, Carlos, man, later when you join us, you're gonna have to share with us, man, some of this
Breaking thing.
computer
You know.
stuff. Dude, I just got some pretty awesome news though, man.
What's that?
We got another guest confirmed.
Oh, don't even tell me. I don't even want to know.
We got
Surprise me.
somebody hopping on later,
Oh, shit.
joining us, which is gonna
Yeah.
be dope. Moving on to the next
Yeah.
news story of the night, man. PayPal CFO reveals they're working on blockchain cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Take it away, man. Pretty cool shit.
So pretty much, literally, what he just said is literally what's happening. So, no, it's pretty dope, man. So,
All
basically,
right,
there was.
moving on to news story number 3.
Well, that's it. That was easy. No. No,
Bro, you're
no, yo,
killing me, dude. I just had I was ripping a vape hit, bro, and it got caught in the chest.
yo, I'm
I'm
gonna need you to
seeing
stop saying
stars.
stop saying the title of the news stories because you're taking it away from me, bro.
I'm all right.
Chill out with- No, I'm,
I'm literally seeing stars right now.
yeah. No, man, but yo, pretty much what happened is right. So during an interview with Yahoo Finance, the PayPal CFO, his name by the name of John Rainey, basically they saying he spilled the beans. Basically that PayPal is working on something to disrupt pretty much Bitcoin and disrupt possibly blockchain and everything else, man. They said they basically have been keeping an eye on Bitcoin since 2015. So they've been looking at this shit a long time. This is nothing new to them. They definitely been paying attention, and they understand how the hype is growing, centered around everything. And I feel like that all of these big companies are doing the same thing, like Facebook, bro. They're just like they just chilling in the cut. They chilling in the cut. They have teams of people that we probably well beyond what we know now, and they've been doing research and they've been checking in on this. So um, I mean, they're probably just sitting down, developing. They're trying to figure out, okay, look at what other people are doing. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? How can we improve upon this? Right? They're letting all of these other tokens and coins take hits while they're building probably a fucking monster in the background. So when you hear a money transactor such as PayPal, as large as PayPal, and you hear them openly coming out talking about they're working on blockchain and cryptocurrency stuff. Yep. That should be confirmation to people that this is obviously not a fucking game. I don't know what like I feel like I keep seeing articles like this, and I still keep running to people who are just like, crypto's not real. It's not gonna be around. Blockchain, what is that? And I'm just like, read, please, something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, we just a couple of shows ago, we went over the list of what the top 50 $1 billion businesses and companies that are into blockchain. Bro, this is not a game anymore. Shit's real.
Definitely a real thing. And I asked the question the other night,
Yep.
if anybody had ever used the Facebook payment. What do you somebody help me out here. The Facebook payment system,
Yeah.
right? Where you can actually pay through Facebook. And I did it the other day, right? So somebody had to send me some dough. And it's pretty cool. It's hooked up to PayPal. I didn't know that. So there's an integration there. Somebody sends you money through Facebook. You hit accept, and then it goes straight to your PayPal, right? But there's no PayPal branding on the front end. So imagine if like Facebook did something like that, where like PayPal did, where you can send and receive crypto like right through the platform, like instantly done.
Yep. Pow, like that, lightning.
That's what I mean. I said that's what needs to happen.
Definitely.
Companies that play at that high of a level, they foreshadow years and years and years in advance, right?
Oh,
and there's no way that they would compromise their business model by not, saying, hey, like this is a threat. Like either we're gonna be in on this or we're gonna be fucked. We could be fucked, right? So interesting stuff. Roberto Ruiz, love the music. Dude, Roberto, thanks so much for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. Wakar, what's up, man? Wakar, we need to definitely talk, man. I've been waiting for you to hop onto the show so we can catch up. I think Lyndon is a little quiet. Audio, I mean. Really? Okay. How about now? Let us know now. Yo, Matt, welcome to the broadcast, man. Thanks for being here. And shout out to everybody tuning in, man. We have so many awesome people hopping on to the show right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Moving on to news story number 3. We're talking about Fidelity. Lyndon, bro, what's going on? Uh-oh. Guys, hello? Bro, wait. Why does this only happen to you, bro?
Bruh. Like, yo, this yo, I'm not trying to say something weird is going on, bro. But bruh, it doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter what internet I'm connected to, bro.
But why? But that's kind of fishy, bro. It happens at least once a broadcast, bro.
Dude, I remember when it started on Facebook, and this was back when we was doing live streams. Then it happened three or four times.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did. Definitely. Moving on to news story number 3. Let us know, Lyndon, bro. What's going on, man? Fidelity. I like seeing Fidelity in the news.
Yeah, man. So Fidelity.
Yeah.
So basically, Fidelity just came out and was like, "Oh, yo, by the way, give us a couple of weeks, and we're gonna go ahead and launch a platform for institutions to trade on." Oh, word? Is that what we're doing now? So when I heard that, obviously, that was exciting, right? Because of the fact that there's been a lot of talk about institutions becoming more and more interested in trading the crypto market, right? And you've been hearing a lot of talk about this. You hear a lot of platforms, that are working on the Bitcoin ETFs and things like that, like Backed and all of those companies stuff, right? So seeing this, it's kind of like, man, they are really not playing. They are really trying to create something for, institutions to engage with right now from a reputable company. And then they want to share this to the world. They even said right here. So in the article, it says the report comes on the back of a survey that Fidelity conducted last week that revealed consistent appetite for Bitcoin amongst its target market. Now check this out. Specifically, 22% of the over 400 institutional investors who responded said they already owned the cryptocurrency as part of their portfolio. Almost half were sympathetic to including it. That's interesting. So 22% of the 400 institutional investors already own it. So compared to what those numbers used to be, from old surveys compared to the sentiment that was centered around blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in the past. If you've been following this for a good amount of time, I even take this back to 2017. It was very fucking different, very different. The headlines that read about institutional investors was very different back then. And it's really nice to see these companies jumping in and really putting this out in the forefront and really saying like, yo, okay, we're acknowledging there's a demand for this and we want to create solutions for this demand. It's a good fucking, how could that not be good? Bro, how could that not be good? How could that not help the sentiment of the market? How could that not help people take things more serious? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, it was good news. It was very good news.
It is good news. It is because we're going to need news like this, right? After you hear about 7,000 Bitcoin hacks, you got to have good news. A lot of good news drowns out the bad news.
Yep.
Right? That's what you want. That's what you want right
Facts.
there.
You do.
I'm reading an article. By the way, my friends, every single article that we talk about on the show,
everyone,
you could find it over on our YouTube channel, Crypto Legends. We're live on YouTube right now. If you're watching this anywhere else, you can see all the links of every article that we're talking about.
Facts.
If you're brand new to the game and you want to know where to go and get the news, it's not Fox, it's not CNN, it's not Yahoo.
Nope.
It's Cointelegraph.com, one of my favorite websites to go find the news. What else do you recommend, bro?
It's a lot of places. So, man, bro, I'm gonna say this a million times. The number one source that I can tell you to go to find really good fucking news is the Crypto Curator, because he curates all dope shit that comes from all different news sources. We might
have to get the Curator as a sponsor of the show, bro.
Bruh, like he's dope, man. He's dope.
Yo, Paul, if you're watching, man, let's talk, bro. I'll put your logo right up here, man. On right up here, brother.
Man,
it's a dope.
But
and go ahead.
Yeah. So like as far as actual news outlets, right? There's a whole bunch of them. So you got Today, Crypto Globe, CoinDesk, News BTC. I mean, there's a lot of different, crypto news outlets, things like that. And honestly, with a lot of these, I really consider them, they could be hit or miss. Dead ass. And even more when I think about news outlets, what really helps you find consistently good news is if you pay attention to who writes what. Pay attention to who writes what and the type of articles that are coming out from specific people, and that will help you gauge a lot better on really good news, right? Because one particular news outlet, right, they have a bunch of articles, but they're being written by a variety of different people that have different viewpoints, that have different things that they love to write about, they love to look into, they love to specialize in. But when you can get an idea of what a particular writer likes to pick up on, the type of things that they like to research and do stories on, that it makes a difference, and it makes it a lot easier for you to follow what you consider to be good news or credible news. So look into the actual writers if you really want to figure it out. If not, or even if you do, I'm telling you, the Crypto Curator, go to the website, please subscribe to his daily newsletter. That shit is going to completely save you hours upon hours upon hours of time, because he vets all of these fucking articles.
Definitely.
He's lit.
I'm reading an article right now. Facebook revises policy on blockchain ads, crypto-related materials, posted 9 hours ago by Max Bodie over on Cointelegraph. Now, this revision is not applying to any advertising that has to do with any ICOs or crypto, like actual coin promotion.
Yeah.
But they are modifying the restrictions where let me see here. We'll have reduce background screen. So advertisers who wish to promote a specific product, such as particular cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency exchange, or mining software and hardware, will have to undergo a rigorous background screening, which includes the following: license they have obtained, whether they are traded on. Interesting. And then at the end of it, it says earlier this week, Facebook reportedly acquired rights to the Libra trademark for its secretive cryptocurrency project. The firm is supposedly seeking $1 billion. We talked about that.
We talked about that,
which can be used on Facebook, Instagram, and we kind of blown away by how sophisticated these advertising algorithms are.
Yeah.
I run ads, for one of my personal businesses, and I put up a video, right? Check this out. I put up a video. In the video, somewhere, I talk fast sometimes, I said the word shit, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that video was restricted from having ads ran on it? Because
they don't be.
It's that crazy. Like, how does that even work?
They have I'm sure they have programs and things that probably read that. They read it.
The audio.
They read the audio. They got shit that reads pictures now. It's pretty fucking serious, bro. They have shit that I want to say. I can't remember where I heard this from. I don't know if it was somebody that I was talking to or an article or something. I fucking read and talk to so many people, man, that they basically have software that scan, or they have algorithms that scan pictures all the way down to the pixel, and they figure out the words that are on pictures to make sure that they know what's on there. So you can't even like hide words in pictures like you used to back in the day. Like, it's crazy.
It's nutty.
Yeah.
Shit
has gotten
they say fuck on
sophisticated.
Australian TV now. No way, Steph. Are you serious? They drop F-bombs on TV?
Really? That's what they ain't doing that shit over here.
Australia's lit, dude.
I mean, they kind of do. It depends on what you watching. I really don't watch TV that much though, so I feel like I've heard that on regular TV before. I don't watch regular TV too often now, so I can't even really tell you for real. But I feel like I've definitely heard somebody drop an F-bomb on regular television before.
I can't say I have. Maybe like late night swim, they'll drop like
that's what I'm thinking. Maybe
of words, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Guys, listen, you're tuned in to the Late Night Crypto Show. I'm Ross Alex. This is the co-host of the show, Lyndon Morgan, aka the Crypto Bully. We really do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. We got a bunch of people tuned in over on YouTube. We got a bunch of people tuned in here on Facebook. In just a minute or two, we're going to be bringing on a special guest for you.
Facts.
Lyndon and I talked the other night, and, we love bringing on guests. And you guys seem to like that format, right? Where we bring on guests, we get like a group conversation going, and that's what helps us go to the late night hours. Because if it was just Lyndon and I, we'd run out of stuff to talk about, right?
Facts.
And I mean, Lyndon, I love you, bro, but there's only so much we can
right.
You know?
Only so much.
So it's really, it's awesome that you guys like the format. So we have a couple of guests joining us on the show. We have one hopping on right now, and then we'll have two more guests joining us shortly thereafter. You guys may know these guests by now, but really excited to have you guys all here. We do have a subscriber goal tonight, my friends. We want to hit 130 subscribers. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
Do it.
Just do it
right now.
Listen, right now, you want to subscribe to the channel, so just do it.
Just do it like Nike.
Turn on post notifications. So when we go live, you get notified.
Yeah.
You'll never miss a show, ever.
Yeah, what the fuck are we doing?
Listen, this is your conscious speaking.
Yo, you stupid, bro.
Make sure that you like the video. Like right now, everybody. Like it. Just do it. Thanks, everybody. Coin God's keeping the mystery going. Yo, Kim, Crypto Whisperer is at it. This is ASMR. Crypto ASMR.
Hey, yo, let's just start doing a whole show like this. Like, let's do a whole show whispering this shit.
Crypto whispering.
Crypto whispers. Crisper.
Bro, yo,
why
do I think we just carved out a new genre?
I don't know. We might have. Uh-oh.
What is going on? Yo, new Davinci, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing, man? I've been tuning in, listening to this banter, man. Getting ready to tap in, man. I love it.
Dude, pleasure to have you here on the show, man.
I appreciate it. Man. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me, man?
Dude, quality is beautiful.
Nice.
Yo. Yeah, I can see you. I'm actually a little mad, bro. I need one of them hoodies ASAP. Like yesterday.
Hit me, man. Good vibes only, man.
Wait. Show that one more time.
Yeah, that hoodie is dope.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, man. Some fire shit, man. We got some stuff going, so yeah.
Ooh, that is tough, man. I like that. Definitely need one of those.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So how you guys doing, man? I've been listening, man, talking about, institutions getting in. I've been talking about, Binance break-ins and hacks, and there's a lot of stuff going on, man. And you made a good point about people have no idea about this, and Linda, I know you follow me on Instagram. Do you see a thing I put my story about the IMF? These major institutions, governments, regulatory bodies, do not let them fool you. These people are very well aware of what's going on, and they're very well planning how they can make them to maximize this for them. You mentioned, how they were talking about 2 years ago, like it's this and that. Oh, it's a scam. It's just this whole space was illegitimized, pretty roughly by mainstream media, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like if you're an average person, you thought it's like, oh, this is a scam, or this is the black market. Like they have no idea what's going on. You just watch news, and you'll see a 2-minute clip, and that's all you ever know about it. And it's very easy to shape perception of the masses that way. And especially nowadays where we're in an instant society, you know what I'm saying? You may not even click the link. You just read the title, you think you know what it's about. Or you might hear one message, 3 times from different sources and think it's true, but that's a coordinated message by, So, man, it's very, very telling how the CEO of BlackRock, for example, I seen an interview, it was a while ago, and he's like the head of the biggest asset hedge fund or something like that, some huge player. Yeah. And it was like a year ago, and they're interviewing him on CNBC or something, and they asked him about Bitcoin, crypto space, and he was just, just making his face like, what? Like that scam, that joke, like this is a joke. And then the guy was like, so you haven't heard of Bitcoin? Not any of your investors or clients have ever asked about this or inquired about investing? He goes, not a one. Not a one has asked about. In my head, I said, that is a bold-faced lie. Like, this is revolutionary, paradigm-shifting technology in the way that funds and value is going to be moved and stored and thought of. Right. There is zero chance not one person has even asked about it. And the more you see that, and the more you're able to decipher body language and to decipher, reality, because like numbers don't lie, partnerships don't lie, like something's going on. I mean, we don't know the details because we're not on the inside.
Exactly.
But all these organizations.
All right, so we're going deep. I like it. I definitely love it, man.
Look at the trends. Look at the trends. If you look at what they're saying now, JP Morgan said the same thing. Then they said, "Oh, we're doing a JP Morgan coin." Then everybody did the exact opposite. You know what they say? Watch what they do, not what they say. So it's easy because if somebody's not paying attention that in depth to the space, you may only come across certain articles that get retweeted on your timeline. You may only come across things that come across your Facebook that your friends posted. You may only come across something that's on the news when you're looking, right? But if you're actively in the space, you can decipher things more because you're looking for it actively. But the mass majority of people are not actively trying to be in this space. They're hearing what they hear, you know what I mean? And so when you hear the JP Morgan, when you randomly open the news, if you're the 40-year-old stockbroker or 40-year-old insurance agent on the road for the weekend, whatever, and you open up in your hotel, you open up the New York Times, and all you see is JP Morgan says this is a scam, whatever. Like you might not read that article, you might not read anything else about the space. So it's easy perception when millions and millions of people are getting this kind of information. But then you find out a year and a half later, 2 years later, oh, we've been developing this. Oh, we've had a partnership with this coin, this company. Oh, we're developing Facebook, developing payments. All these different things are telling you that this didn't happen overnight.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
They definitely knew what was going on. They just didn't want everybody else to catch on.
They didn't want to say nothing. Of course, they don't.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
that's how it is, man.
Yeah, Backed, Fidelity, all these things. They've been patiently waiting and seeing these things, and I actually believe it's going to start a bull run because we obviously know manipulation and all this stuff in this environment. A lot of people own a lot of these coins who are early investors or people who had a lot of money, and the people who are coming into this space, they're not going to buy everything at an all-time high. Like, think about people. Like you said,
of course not.
These are millionaires. These are billionaires working with Fidelity. And do you think they're going to come buy an asset at its all-time high? No, they're not. Like, you have to think logically. It's not really that deep. It sounds crazy, but it's not. Think logically. I'm a millionaire. I'm in inner circles. I'm a billionaire. I'm in inner circles. Oh yeah, I heard about this thing. It's bullshit. Oh no. Now we're finding out it's really not bullshit. And there's not just Bitcoin. There's thousands of other things that have viability, and there's quite a few that are actually getting ready to implement things that can make them usable already.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to buy an all-time high. They're going to get in. And even Fidelity, I believe they said they were allowing. I don't know if it's Fidelity, but one of them said they were allowing certain institutional investors early access. And I said, wow, that's definitely, giving me a signal. Like, people are getting early access because why? Something else is going to happen and everybody else will have access. So why do you early access? Because you're special or you have connections or whatever. So I think that the space is rapidly maturing, and it's because institutions can't ignore it now. And like, I'm really interested in the remittance and payment space.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he's from Ethiopia, and he was actually looking into how can he send money back home to Africa? Because right now it's a very laborious process and it's highly inefficient and everything. And then he came across XRP, and he came across other ADA, Cardano that are doing things in East Africa and also trying to target that space. Because you're actually trying to create this kind of technology or company or whatever, you know what I mean? And then he comes to find out years ago that this already been happening, and that's how he got turned into this space. So, just looking at that, like, really what's happening is, if you look at a large organization like JP Morgan, right?
Yeah.
They're like a cruise ship, a huge cruise ship, right? How many thousand employees, how many locations, physical infrastructure, all these huge things, right? And then if you look at like small local banks or maybe credit unions, or they'll be like yachts, nice big ships. And then you have the individual small remittance companies and maybe individuals or small businesses that are like little speedboats, right? And right now there's this huge tsunami coming of change. Like, the way value and money and information is going to transform, the way it's going to be communicated and stored is going to rapidly change. And there's this huge wave coming. So who can turn easier? A small little boat, a yacht, or a cruise ship? Small boat, right? So
right.
The bigger you get, it's going to be harder to turn that thing in time, but the thing is, if you turn that big ship in time, it's most likely going to survive that tsunami, right? But if you don't turn that small ship in time, you're definitely going to capsize.
True. That's true.
So that's what's happening. And so, like, in the remittance space, there's a lot of small companies partnering with cryptocurrencies, and they're able to transfer it almost instantaneously for fractions of a cent. You know what I mean? And before, if you want to send money to Philippines or to Mexico, this goes through correspondent banking. Like, my bank has to send to another bank, It has to go through all this process. Takes 3 days. There's a high rate of failure. I was like, wow, this is archaic.
Yeah, it takes too long, man. It takes way too long, bro.
Think about it. If you're on Saturday, on Saturday, like, what do you do? Is the bank open? Like, there's so much inefficiencies in this space, and this is cutting right through it, that if you don't adapt, you die. And we've seen this happen exactly with the internet. Like, think about the internet. Internet was internet of information, right? So right now, look on your phone right now, what you're looking at, you can look up almost anything in the world. Think about what that is for the value of information. Before, what you have to have? You have to have a dictionary just to look up something, you know what I mean? Then you have to have a medical dictionary if you're a doctor. Think about the difference in the ability to transfer and store information, or sending a mail versus an email. So because one person made a good point there. He said, we're not trying to capture 80% of the paper mail volume with email. We're trying to multiply the amount of information that can go. It's way bigger than that space alone, because now this technology creates a different ability.
Yeah, it pretty much changes the game, man. It changes the game completely, and that's the reason why it's so different, and that's the reason why things are so different, man. Damn, man, you all right? Hold on. All right, so we jumped in, we jumped in, and we deep dove as soon as you hopped in, man. You already know.
I already know. You guys talk, man.
Yeah, I already know. I know how passionate you are, man. But why don't you do this, man? Let all of the viewers know, man. Let them know who you are, what you do. I know about you, what you're doing with everything, man. Let them know a little bit about you, bro, and how you got into crypto to begin with.
Yeah. My name is Alex, man. I go by New Davinci, my stage name. I'm an artist and executive with Good Vibes Only collective, which is individuals who came together. We just have a positive message, and we just, we throw events. We do music. We have, visuals. We have clothing brand. Like, we're just trying to create something that'll last and make people feel good, and give people a memory and energy, that we want to reciprocate in our lives. So it's been going really good, man. We had some partnerships with Airbnb. We did some events with them. I've been doing like our own private concerts, I should say, and it's been going pretty good. just dropped the album. Got 4 videos out. Got a 5th one coming. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on the GVO Collective on YouTube. Got some bangers on there. But yeah, I got into crypto, man. It was I'm just a tech head, and I'm just a person that reads a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm always, and like I'm into economics and geopolitics. Like I'm always trying to read about something. Like, and I'm always trying to read about something and to position myself in life in the best possible way, whatever that is. And and I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist, like I'm saying, but to me that term means I'm always questioning everything, and I'm always trying to find out the why of whatever it is. And
of course.
And so what. A friend of mine told me about Cardano a while ago, and it's crazy. My older brother had heard about Bitcoin years ago. Someone had given him some Bitcoin, he just didn't even know what it was and didn't even care, And he said, I lost, I don't know what it was or whatever. And so it's crazy, because I was like, man, if I had heard about this then, I would have had these same questions, the same drive. I said I would have been even more positioned to know what's going on and to be, probably more better financially off. But not really worried about that. It's just I'm just really have a hunger for knowledge. And my friend told me about Cardano, and then my other friend was like, hey, when I told you about Ethiopia remittances, he was trying to get this thing popping, and he goes, I came across, he said XRP, and he just said, start reading about this space of Bitcoin and XRP, and said, look at the use cases of what people believe it could be used for, all these different things. So it was just put the bug in my ear to learn more about things, and then the more you see, the advancements in this space and the institutions that are coming on board, and like I said, IMF talking about this stuff and digital assets becoming more of a mainstream thing, at least in the sectors that matter. It doesn't have to be a discussionary point in regular conversation, but for the people that are involved in this space, or the people who are making advancements with this technology, like it's becoming very well known to the point, like you said, it's inevitable. Like there's a massive change coming in, and people are trying to get ahead of it.
Facts. Yeah. Like, do you see this even jumping heavily? Like, do you feel like that this could change the game for the music space, bro? Like, what would it be like for you?
Even because the ability to sorry, I was just checking on the game. The ability to even make payments instantaneously. Like, think about this: if you're an Uber driver, like now, why can't if they have cryptocurrencies that they use, that you could get paid immediately? You work your hours, you get your shit, it's already deducted, and you automatically get paid to your account. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
Now it could happen instantaneously. So think about the friction in the economy, like like I said, the correspondent banking, international money, it's got to go through several banks. It's going to take days. It has errors. Like now we can cut through all that with with digital assets.
Yeah.
And it's just and the thing that it's going to have to build out for retail use, there's a lot to be built out. You need the user interfaces. You know what I mean? Make it easy, just like an app, I think. But and the same thing like the Binance Hack, we need security. We need to understand how this can be attacked. It's such a new technology. We don't even know how to protect it yet in some ways. You know what I mean? So it's going at a fast pace because technology increases at an increasing rate. You know what I mean? What took the first time? Remember those Macs with the little floppy disks, and you have to do C+, program all these kind of DOS prompts. People are on that. They were like, nobody's going to use this. People were looking. They're like, what the hell is this? Like that. Like put all this in. This is ridiculous. But then you look at 20 years later, it's like everybody has a fucking everybody has a phone in their hand with the whole world is connected.
Nah, you can say whatever you want on this show, bro.
Yeah, you could definitely curse because we definitely be saying fucking and everything else.
Yeah, I'm just making sure, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Late night.
Hey, okay, yeah.
So somebody just said they never seen me so quiet before. Bro, okay. Yo, bro. First of all, man, dude, you got the fire, bro. I can tell, man, you are a passionate individual.
Yeah, man, I like to read, man. This is interesting, man. Like this, this is gonna change the world. Like, and it's kind of like not scary to say, but they're on the verge of declaring a new asset class. Like, do you understand what it means? Like, we're in a point of time where asset classes are only defined for specific things that they change an industry or they change the way we work. So that just tells you right there that it's being,
what's going to change the world?
Digital assets and the way the value is
digital assets as a whole, or one specific.
Well, I believe there's going to be many winners because it depends on what their use cases are and what. See, right now we have a lot of speculation. We have a lot of dreams and hopes and ideas and people working on them. And, right now, and that's what the market is, right? It's you're betting on what you believe, who has the best team, or you believe who has the best white paper, who believe who has the best use case and who can prove that they can solve this use case, right? And for me personally, I think right now with Bitcoin has first mover advantage. and it has the store value that it says, right?
Definitely.
My thing is now, what just happened now with Binance, and what did what's his name? The CEO of Binance, CZ Binance, CZ, and what did he just say? He basically said, "Oh, we were considering rolling back or doing some transaction." Well, right there, that just tells me. So it is possible that Bitcoin is not immutable. So when that finally becomes fully understood, are people going to invest millions of dollars? Like people think Bitcoin is like gold, right? So one Bitcoin goes to $1 million, whatever it is. Are you going to risk that on something that could eventually be rolled back and by a concentrated group of people? And there's 51% of the mining is already in China. So Bitcoin were hacked from Binance like a year ago. The same exact thing, like same number. I just read that.
Yeah.
So
similar.
So similar. So I believe it's an inside job. Something is going on. Somebody had, you know what I mean? Because like you made a good point, Lyndon. Just because this is $1 million, $1 billion company, all these things, whatever. This is small. How many employees did they have? 30, 40? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not really. It's not a huge business like we think it is. And there could be one guy who gets somebody else the information that he knows he's a tech guy and that could inside information to hack it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can just be out of there. 40 million, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I was gonna say, actually, what you said too is so people that's listening can understand, man. That part that you said about the fact of how what they were saying, one of the things that they were thinking about doing. Now, listen, like everybody who's watching, listen to me when I say this. He was talking about reaching out to the miners,
and
then basically having them team up together to where basically they would have 51%. Of the blockchain, and basically backwards, rewind time real quick, in a sense, not literally, but rewind time and basically go back to before the hack happened. Like, okay, wait, wait a minute. So you telling me you were sitting here thinking about a viable way to basically undo all of the transactions that happened in a specific period to make up for the loss of this. And then it took you thinking about that to realize maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And then they wrote an article about the shit. Like, yo, if that isn't something that gets people thinking and understanding how still very new we are in this blockchain shit, and how that isn't something that gets people like that's just wild. That's really wild. Like this really
Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
What's up?
Hey, welcome to the broadcast, man. Thanks for stopping by.
I'm just listening to Linda, keep going, man. You're right on it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it is. Like that's some scary. I feel like CZ was on some Thanos shit right there for a second. Like he was like, maybe I should just go ahead and maybe if I snap my finger, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just put that shit down. Like what?
You know what?
Like, hold on,
what? That guy scared me today.
Yeah.
When he said that. And he posted that, on the news. I was like, wait, hold up a second. You are offering a technical solution to roll back 7,000 Bitcoins and literally just give them away to decentralized, mining community.
That
goes against the whole idea what we're trying to build here. Now,
exactly.
Good point. If he was doing that just to poke the eyes of the crypto world and say, hey, look, we have a problem here. We have to fix this.
Right.
We cannot have this centralized, mining, going on. We see there's a vulnerability, on the system. I give him that. But if he was thinking the other way, I'm kind of like, whoa, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. It is.
So,
it's some super.
Real quick, I want to take it to the chat because we got a couple of questions coming in for new Davinci.
Hey.
John says thoughts on the BitShares potential and other DEX platforms following the Binance and Bitfinex fiascos.
Yeah, man, I believe everything is becoming decentralized. So to take this to a bigger level, think about this. Airbnb disrupted the industry by what? Decentralizing. You're like, okay, I can share my home, sharing everything. Your Uber, same thing. Sharing my car, sharing costs. Everything is becoming decentralized. We're able to communicate directly with other people using platforms where the incumbents were using control everything. Same thing with exchanges. Right now, that is the people with the most money and the know-how. They usually start and they'll have an advantage at first, right? So now these big companies, they have a huge exchange. It's just the easiest method. It's already hard enough. Remember how it was the last few years to get onto exchange, like to get your things to your wallet. To it's very confusing and intimidating for people who are not tech savvy. And even if you are, it takes some learning curve, right? Yeah. So you're gonna go to the easiest platform. You're gonna need the easiest place to get money. You're gonna get the what you think is secure, like what I mean. That's what you're thinking is that's the easiest way to get on. But eventually, the technology will catch up. Where I believe decentralized exchanges will just be much safer. And just people are going to be learning how to use them, just how we have to learn how to use our wallets and learn how to send addresses and etc. That's just going to be a learning curve. But when it catches up, especially the user interfaces, I think it's a no-brainer. Like we should aim to be everything decentralized. Everything in Earth that has been centralized, our control is hasn't worked out. So why not decentralized, especially with security and everything? It is being paramount nowadays. Everything's being recorded. Everything is available, and if you have centralized, it's very easy to hack. If all I have to do to get your database is hack one of your passwords, and then I have everything about you, I'm gonna spend all my resources to hack that. But if everything is decentralized, think about a person hacking. If they have to hack every single person's account versus going to one place and getting to all the accounts, it's gonna be much harder to hack, and there's gonna be much less incentive to do that.
Yeah, I think decentralized exchanges, that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. Because I think from one perspective, right, the ideology behind the existence of what they're trying to do, decentralizing everything, even if they want to go the route of making it feeless, right, that sounds dope. I think where decentralized exchanges is going to have the biggest problem is when it comes to regulation. Because if all exchanges are going to be deemed as money transmitters, and as money transmitters, at least here in the US, right? You have to follow KYC and AML guidelines. So you have to know your customer, anti-money laundering stuff, right? Now, doing that as a decentralized exchange, you almost put a red target on your back. Because basically, as a regular exchange, it's like, all right, we may not be doing it, but if somebody comes to talk to us, like like everybody did, or like the Fed did Coinbase, all right, now we're going to implement certain things, and we'll kind of play with you a little bit. Decentralized exchanges are essentially being like, hey, feds, fuck you. We're absolutely not centralizing a fucking thing. We're not collecting any data, and we're going to do whatever we want to. And I think that by them doing that, even though from one perspective it's a great idea and I think it makes sense, from the regulatory standpoint, bruh, you are. It's like you just almost waiting to get sniped at this point. And that's why.
I was reading something today that was like very true. And it goes right in line with what he was saying. Is, hey, Bitcoin didn't get hacked.
Yeah.
A centralized exchange got hacked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of the whole thing.
Yeah. Facts. And it is like that. And that's the scare. See, and that's why I even think about like Binance, right? Binance. They obviously have a regular exchange, and then they also just launched their DEX. And I'm like, they may be the only ones who can launch a DEX and maybe somewhat get away with it. It's like you kind of have a real exchange that somewhat collects people's data if they want, if they submit it to you and things like that. So it's like, I really think that it's going to be interesting to see how all of these DEXs play out, because I can see, right, DEXs may not be getting a lot of attention now, but that's because nobody is using it like that. There's no DEX that's a Coinbase. There's no DEX that's a Binance. I feel like Binance may possibly be the first company to launch a DEX that may actually do big numbers. And I think if they do, it is going to be real interesting to see how regulatory bodies respond to that shit.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, regulations are needed, but at the same time, they can't choke out the innovation and the ability. And I mean, my hope is that, like, the genie's out of the bottle. Like, if we're able to create this technology and circumvent, because if this technology, I know it sounds radical, but if this technology is developed to its fullest potential, we might not even need governments. Everything could be transacted on blockchains. Voting can be immutable. We can transact in a truly democratic way and truly have accountability on all these things. We could have government funds on these blockchains. So where's all that BS funding going? Where is this stuff? Where's this money moving? We have accountability. So we have this money in government funds. We should know exactly where it's going and how it's going and how it's being used.
The regulations within.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it is.
that's within, yeah. And so in reality, yeah, we need the regulations from within, but hopefully the government doesn't choke out innovation because what's truly best for the individual, doesn't always line up with what's truly best for the state. So,
Right. That
there's
is
a
true.
balance between that because at the same time we still do need regulations. We still do need, some guidance, and I'm very interested to see what the Token and Taxonomy Act of what that happens, and a lot of things are lining up, like to get clarity, and when it gets clarity, you never know, and everything like that, you can really make some value yourself. You know what I mean? So
You hit it right on the nail earlier when you were talking about building economies up in Africa,
Yep.
and how Ripple and Cardano, they're trying to break through those barriers.
Yeah.
And like where the regulation was so harsh, those governments, that really broke the economies.
Yeah.
So now you have these crypto companies coming in to build on the microeconomy of those societies, and oh my God, it's like
they're
just growing.
Yeah, it was great. I was watching a video with the IMF, and they were talking, and they were just creating a fake scenario. It's not really fake, but they were like, they had like 5 or 6 people on a panel, and they would ask them, they'll say, so you are the CEO of JP Morgan, and you're going to play the incumbent, the big banks, the financial institutions, the players who are in control now. Then they say, this guy, you work for Circle, I think it was some coins or some, blockchain companies. Like, you're going to be the disruptor. You're going to represent, all cryptocurrencies and digital assets that are trying to disrupt the financial sector space. Then they had a guy, the Kenyan governor of the central bank, and she said, you are going to be the client. You're going to be someone that's been using blockchain. And so she explained to him, she said, Kenya has basically started the M-Pesa, which is like their digital currency, and they're trying to implement this blockchain solution for their economy. And she said, if they're able to succeed, they'll have gone through multiple phases of economic development very rapidly, because this technology is going to help you leapfrog, different iterations. Like, so America's economy from 100 years, even if you're a world power for 100 years, you're only making incremental changes because you're already at the forefront. You know what I mean? So it goes from 2G to 4G to 5G. But if Africa, my country, Eritrea, Ethiopia, they get internet, all of a sudden, they're not going to lay, the dial-up and then normal cable, then fiber optic. They're going to go to what the most recent is that they can afford. So right now, people with blockchains, and like you said, the Kenyan governor was saying, hey, our infrastructure is not good, but we have internet, and he said we're able to implement this structure because we have the minimum that it takes, and they're going to leapfrog many iterations of economic development because they're not going to have to go through that. And so in this way, people who are far behind and are able to make the leap are going to make a much bigger leap.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know what? You bring up a good point about access when it comes to the internet, because obviously, cryptocurrencies, they need that access to the internet. You know what? And I'm very familiar because of my line of work in space. There is a project called OneWeb. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Just look it up. Just Google it, OneWeb. It is basically bringing internet to the masses, through satellite communications
I have heard about
free.
Yep,
It's like let me. I got it right here. It's Group Salinas, Qualcomm Technologies, SoftBank. There's a bunch of. It's a consortium of companies. I think Google is involved in that project as well, and SpaceX, I think. And they're literally putting a swarm of satellites up in space over certain areas of the world, so that can provide satellite communications, meaning internet, to those areas for free, just to bring the connectivity to those areas.
They want to bring the people that are unbanked, the people that are not part of the world economy, they want to bring them in. And the only way to have interconnected that is to have internet access. And what's crazy, there was a study of African countries. They were already the most developed and the quickest to adapt to cell phone technology. So many African countries like Nigeria, Kenya, all these big, huge countries, they have high cell phone usage. And they're already saying if they can jump into this, like you said, to use the internet and all this connectivity to really transform their economy, it's going to happen fast because this technology is much easier to implement, internet type based functionality than it is to implement, say, a water system or a highway. Like, these are heavy infrastructure, take years and years and high, massive capital outlay, right? So think about to develop the roads, the physical roads of a country would take many years and many millions, right? But to get the internet roads, the connectivity, it's very, like you said, satellites, cell phones, and you have the blockchain behind in the background, and boom, this economy could be radically.
And that is one of the things. That's one of the things I was like trying to mold in my head. Is like, oh my God, they're putting an infrastructure of $1.25 billion out there in satellite communications. What is the return on the investment for all these companies?
Exactly.
And then you start tying it up to blockchain, cryptocurrencies are like, wait, I'm kind of connecting the
dots.
you know,
Yeah.
the dots here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
You got it right on, dude.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I was talking. I'm in a group chat, and this John Connor, he's working with Cardano, and he's working with the Ethiopian government. They're trying to make a digital birr, like their currency. And so it's just telling me that if they can do this correctly, like Africa has a lot of resources too, natural resources. So if they're able to transact on blockchain, they'll have better supply management. They'll have better accountability because a lot of the governments are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all these things are going to help them legitimize themselves. And if you have natural resources and you're able to legitimize yourself and have a legitimate commerce, like you're going to succeed because natural resources have value. And if you're able to transact that value seamlessly and accurately, you're gonna have a better just a better experience for your people. And eventually that's what it comes down to. It's gonna make it easier for people to transact, and the people who are ahead of the curve will just they're gonna benefit immensely, I believe, as investors as well as the people who will benefit from technology to implement it, like these countries.
True.
Yeah, you know what? I read a paper a while back ago, like, I want to be microeconomics, just freaking tap into the big dollars, blah, blah, blah. And then I read another paper. There was like the contradiction of, okay, yeah, you make all those big bucks, but, where it is doing small loans, small
loans, exactly.
People to get underdeveloped countries to evolve.
Yes.
Even though it's a penny might turn into
$1
million overnight.
Yeah.
If you excite that economy.
Yeah, and I mean it's true. Like little things build up to big things. You know what I mean? So if you're able, and that's the problem too. Like for me to send money back to my country, so Eritrea is right north of Ethiopia. It's a very small country, and Ethiopia is much farther.
Which country?
Eritrea. It's right. It's just north of Ethiopia, Northeast Africa.
Okay.
So Ethiopia has 100 million people. It has internet. Much more stable government.
It pop out of nowhere.
What up?
Oh, what's popping?
But why do we need banks? Because banks are monolithic, centralized structures, and they control your money. You can become your own bank with blockchain. You can if you're a millionaire, why don't you loan directly to people if you want to? You can have smart contracts that execute automatically based on whatever parameters you put in. So that that's going to reduce lawyer fees. That's going to reduce just delays and payments and everything. And you can lay everything on blockchain, smart contracts, and you can loan money directly to people yourself. And it'll be an interest rate for them, and it'll be better rates for you than if you're going through a bank. So it's a win-win. So what's happening is, again, decentralization. We're cutting out the big players that are taking all of these benefits for themselves. And if you have a payment this big and this much is fees, but in reality, it only costs that much. This extra is fat. You know what I mean? It's unnecessary. So we could take that out and go directly, without having that middleman. You can get
I
directly.
got into this conversation, man. I don't even know who you are. What's up, man? I'm Anthony.
my name is Davinci, man. I'm a friend of Lyndon's.
What's up, man? Very nice to meet you.
You too, man.
So I just caught that last part of what you said. So my question to you here
What's up?
is, all right, so I get the whole, lend directly to individual people, right? But so one of the biggest parts of our banking system right now is leverage, right? So $100, you leverage it 10 times, you get $1,000 out of it. We're able to create mortgages, we're able to create small business loans, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So without being able to use a centralized bank, and I'm not about the centralization of it, but if we can't pool our money in some way to create leverage on the money that's available, and basically draw down the interest for future generations.
Yep.
How do you continue to grow an economy that's growing at an exponential rate versus the money supply?
Well, I don't have an answer to that, and I'm not sure if anybody does. Which is why you see. I mean, I don't know if you guys pay attention to economics or macroeconomics. And geopolitics. Like we're in a shithole right now.
Just a little bit.
Our economy is farce. You know what I mean? We've had quantitative easing nonstop. Trump is now campaigning for low interest rates. We're already historically low. Like the stock market just literally responds based on what's going on. With them anticipating, getting free money, like you said, inflating the money supply, and that can't go on forever. So I don't know what the solution is, but to me, it seems like they're positioning digital assets in some way to help provide frozen liquidity. And because the same thing happened in 2008, we didn't have any liquidity and we were unable to transact. And they were actually afraid of everything just getting mucked up and stopping. People not lending, people having business, everything would start to slow down and collapse.
Even when the banks got liquidity, they still weren't lending. They were
lending, exactly. Yeah. And so,
Crazy.
and I don't have a solution for that, and I'm not sure that they do. And what's crazy is that based on Keynesian economics, there is no solution. Every fiat currency goes to zero. Every single one of them in the history of mankind. So I think their solution is it's going to crash in some kind of way, or they're going to have some kind of forgiveness or reset or whatever. Because if they're all in the same boat, what are you going to do? Like, in America, for example, if America was to default on this loan, what are they going to do? It would screw everybody else at the same time. So I don't know.
And that's why people keep giving us money, right? They got the faith of the U.S. government behind them.
Yeah, and it's just because we're the biggest army and we're the biggest economy. So, it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah, I mean, the solution is the same thing that's the fucking problem. It's the people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of wealth gets wiped out really, really quickly.
Yep, exactly.
And it's a real problem. Obviously, if the U.S. dollar goes to zero, it's a worldwide issue. The whole world goes to shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we're approaching 23 trillion in debt. I think we're at 22 and change.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
It's like a stupid number. Like, it's an unfathomable number. And we've talked about this, I think, on the show before, where really the only way to eradicate our debt is to literally use hyperinflation, right? It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like, and I love the idea of lending direct to people and all that shit, but I think part of that is like, it's one thing if I need $10,000 because I have a small purchase to buy, right? Yeah. It's another thing if I'm like, oh, I want to buy $1 million property, and the only place to really go for that is a bank right now, right? There's no private lender giving out $1 million. I mean, I'm sure there are, but realistically, the average person's going to a bank to do it, right? So, and they're creating massive leverage, like that $1 million they're loaning on $100,000. So it creates a massive issue from a economic standpoint where we can't function as the same economy we have been functioning as at all.
No.
Wait, Anthony. Hold up a second, right there, because I got a question.
Yeah.
You bring in the issue of inflation. So we kind of like in the risk of moving that inflation, that actual dollars or whatever we call it, on the real world,
right?
And we're moving that into the digital world. So what's changed?
Well, a lot changes because right now we can print more money, right? In the digital world, the supply is the supply. That's what we got to work
right, with. But someone has to buy that supply, and it's being bought with print money.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
which is why if you saw Bitcoin fly up is during the Tether fiasco, it's because Tether is pegged 101 to the dollar, which is inflating. But also it's really not 1-to-1. If you read the papers and stuff like that, it was really 75% or something like that. So
yeah, I read that.
So that's one of the benefits and the allures of digital assets. Off of inflation alone, the Bitcoin is valued against the USD. If the USD hyperinflates, Bitcoin is going to go up in value astronomically, as well as a digital asset with a use case. So that's kind of what people are saying, like digital gold or a hedge against inflation, because it is separate from the economy. And people were actually doing studies, seeing as the stock market was going up and the dollar strength, everything was changing. They were trying to see against cryptocurrency, see what it was, if it was following those trends, and it was not following those trends. Sometimes so it's telling you that this is functioning separately from the manipulated economy that we see every day.
And what? I'll give that to you, Anthony. That we're not printing money in the digital world. So
right, that's it. Like, our supplies are supplies.
What's bought is bought, and then that's the amount of freaking money you're gonna have. Meaning the amount of coins on that currency, and no matter. So people are just gonna pay what they think. Like the old trading system. Back in the days, I give you a piece of chocolate, you give me a chicken. And I think there's the same value. Same thing when it comes to digital currency.
It's mania all over again, right? It's two bulbs used to buy a property, and then next thing you know is 50,000 bulbs to buy that same property.
Yeah,
it's
what people think their value is.
Right, it's perceived value.
Right.
Yeah, it's all intrinsic. Yeah, that's the thing that's fucked up about all of this. I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter whether it's digital or it's paper. It's going to be the same thing, man. They're not trying to change the system. They're just trying to change the things that we use to make the system happen. And I think that's ultimately the most fucked up thing.
I don't think it's the system. I think it's up to the person, the individual person to bargain and say, hey, I think what I have has more value than what you're trying to offer me.
I mean,
and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but think about this. The average person can't even fucking log off social media, can't even eat the right shit, can't even step away from the TV to not watch America's Got Talent, but yet we expect people to know how to properly make financial transactions on a scale that has nothing to do with everything they're watching on television and social media. Bro, no. That shit ain't happening. That's not where we at. This mass media is mass media for a reason, because they got a bunch of zombie motherfuckers watching them. And I think that's our biggest problem.
Have marketing, dude.
Yeah, that's why. We need that. But the problem is that when we market shit like that, people getting took out for that, man. People, you already know the government ain't playing, man. The government is not playing with that shit. They ain't trying to hear that shit. They trying to keep the hamster in the wheel, bro. You know what? Here it is. You know what the solution is to all of this shit? I know what it is. Ross, you know what the solution? Ross knows what the solution is. We were just talking about it earlier.
What's that, bro?
Illusion? What do you say? Illusion?
No, the solution. The solution to all of this. Yes, it's real simple. The solution to all of this shit, bro, is John McAfee's app, bro. Bitcoin play. That's what it is. Facts. It's gonna solve everything. That's gonna solve world hunger.
You guys talked before about. I wasn't watching, but I would assume you guys talked about the Binance hack.
Yeah, we did. We started a little touching on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You saw McAfee. Hold on. Sorry. That's my bad. I would assume that that you guys saw McAfee reached out to CZ and was like, "Hey, man, let me help you figure out what the hell happened." Did you guys see that?
Yeah, bro. That was really crazy, man. For them to even talk like that, for them to mention that kind of stuff, man, I don't know, man. Bitcoin, it has a lot. The technology is not the world leader. You know what I mean? It's just the world leader in name and first mover advantage. And for them to talk stuff like that, like there's other technology and coins that are stronger than the Bitcoin's technology. And and that doesn't even mention the proof of work and how that how much electricity it takes. And climate change is a very real thing, whether a government realizes it or not. And at some point, it's going to become a very big problem. And I don't know when that problem is, but before it becomes that point, it's going to create even more public outrage and outcry about it, and that's going to be another black mark against Bitcoin. But for them to talk about rolling back or to having a transaction that would send all Bitcoin to those miners in a centralized kind of format, and then for him, it's not impossible, just something we talked about. Like, what the hell is going on?
That's why I said I think I will not be surprised if something comes in and wipes out blockchain like that ass. I'm almost kind of waiting on it, because there's too many centralized factors in a decentralized protocol. Because I mean, like I said, when I really thought about it, think about almost any protocol in existence. It doesn't matter what we're talking about: proof of stake, proof of work, proof of burn, proof of whatever. Right? They all have centralized aspects to them. Oh, okay. Proof of work. Whoever has the most computing power. Proof of stake. Whoever has the biggest wallet. And it's just like, wait a minute. That kind of fucking defeats the purpose of everything and why we created this in the first place. So how is it really decentralized if motherfuckers can be like, hey, do me a favor, hey, you miner and you miner, let's go ahead and rewind this shit real fast so we can fix that. Like, what? Wait.
And that's it was really interesting when I read the article about it. I was like, obviously Bitcoin is decentralized enough, but you know what? You get the top 10, 20 miners out there that own that 51%. They can make decisions like that. And it's kind of scary to think.
And they're almost
really a select few people or select few miners or pools or whatever you want to call them that can make decisions like that for essentially the worldwide money supply one day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's craziness.
Yeah, so that was very shocking. And I'm not sure if people in the space that are just casual observers really understand the gravity of even that.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, that's a fucking problem. Huge problem. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen when they realize that, Bitcoin may not be what they think it is. And we may have a problem, in this space. But it's just one coin, and like I said, there's a lot of coins.
It is the only reason why it's centralized is because miners.
Yes, but that's how the algorithm works.
And that is a very hard problem to crack because let's say China, you got massive amounts of farms.
The farms,
miners, and under the umbrella they want owner. That's what makes it centralized.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. It is what makes it centralized. That's what I said, man. We still got a long fucking way to go.
Yeah.
A real long way to go. That's why I said it'll be interesting to see how things evolve. And that's why I said I'm almost more interested to see how these big corporations come and what plays they come with. So when I think about Facebook, Microsoft, IBM, all of these big ass companies that have the infrastructure and the know-how to execute something like this on the technology end, on the business side, even better, I really feel like they're sitting back. They got a whole fucking team basically just taking notes. All right, you fucked this up, we're going to do this. All right, you fucked that up, we're going to do this. And I feel like they're just waiting for that moment to where they can be like, jump in and just swarm, bro.
It is a very hard nut to crack when it comes to, okay, how do you decentralize miners? It's like, okay, you're only allowed to have this many power that you can mine with. It's like, well, that defeats the purpose of decentralization. So, come on.
Yeah.
One defeats the other. So, how do you fix the problem?
I think that's where, it's some shit would have to change. You would have to create a protocol that is not based on who has the most this or who has the most that, right? Like, you have to get rid of it. And me personally, that's why I love Holochain so much, because it takes that out the equation. It's based on basic accounting.
There's no miners?
Nah, mining doesn't exist. Staking doesn't exist. It's based on literally accounting. Their protocol is basically last in, first out. Dead ass. Like, I'm telling you, it's fucking amazing, bro. Like, it's amazing, the shit that they do and how they're doing it. So it's like the thing that blockchain relies on are those protocols, which relies on the creation of tokens to feed into, circulation and things like that in order for you to use things to get done. Holochain they don't have tokens. That doesn't exist, right? There's something there as a medium of exchange, but it's not how like blockchain is. So you don't have that whole situation of this group of people can come in and just completely take over a whole ecosystem of a blockchain. That's why I fuck with it so heavy, because I feel like that's where blockchain is. It definitely is hurting, because I feel like, really think about that. If most of the world is using blockchain on an everyday basis, right? And if there are companies that without a doubt have ridiculous amounts of hash power and they control large portions of the chain, what would keep them,
from reverting?
Yeah, like all it is one right person or one wrong person or one wrong conversation.
More likely one wrong person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is why proof of work, I believe, is a dead technology. I don't believe that is going to last. I don't think it will be allowed to last. When regulations come and the understanding and maturing of this, I don't believe technology is increasing at an increasing rate, as I said earlier. I think Bitcoin is going to show that the potential in digital assets, and it showed everybody, brought people legitimacy to it. But I don't believe it's going to be used in any way, shape, or form besides possibly a store value type case. And that becomes shakier. Every day you hear stuff like this and you start to wonder. And like I said, if there's 51% mining and it's in China, that's an authoritative government which doesn't even let its own currency fluctuate on the free market.
Yeah, they manipulate the shit of their own country.
They're going to let another currency and their borders do whatever they want, do whatever it wants? I don't believe so. At any point, China could just walk in and shut those miners down, or say we're taking over and running 51% tag, take whatever they want and destroy it if they wanted to.
Facts. Yeah. That's funny too. Raymond in the YouTube chat said something that's true as fuck. He was like, same shit the Rothschilds are doing now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like an extension. And the crazy part is that technically with blockchain, it's gonna be easier for them to do this shit than when it was fiat.
Well, yeah, it depends on the system that we use. So
Yeah.
if we have a proof of work system like this, if it's centralized enough, then they will be able to run things back and do certain things, or take the money that was stolen and reward the miners, whatever the hell they were talking about. So there's other blockchains, there's other, algorithms that will still work. It's just maturing at that space and finding the one that gets adoption. Pretty much what this is there's a race to a certain level of adoption, and once the right technology, the good enough technology, gets the right enough adoption, it's probably going to become robust enough that it's going to squeeze other ones out in its lane. You know what I mean? There's still like blockchain will do supply management. Like I said, there's XRP that's trying to do payments. Like, so once the one that solves use case A, and it has with good enough technology and good enough adoption and volume and liquidity for what it's trying to do, it's going to win. But then there's other use cases that will do the same thing, because once that's what's going to happen, like VH1 and Betamax, all these kind of things. Once the technology that's good enough gets enough people, people are not going to change to the other one, no matter if it's better, because it's not that much better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's what's happening now. I think all people are racing to get their use case solved and then get adoption enough where they'll probably be the leaders for a long time until a new technology emerges. Yeah, man, this is gonna be very, very interesting. This space is changing in so many ways.
Max.
I really believe that it's coinciding with automation and other things that it's just going to radically change things. It's just blockchain is happening at the same time as all the other things, and it's going to enable those things to happen even faster. So it's going to be very, very interesting, man. It's something I read about every day and think about, because when a internet was created or a phone was created, we never even thought about having the whole world on a screen in front of us,
Right.
The first cell phone, there was in the Benz. Remember that the first cell phone with the big, huge plug on there? You have to be plugged into your car. So, that you never imagined you'd be talking to people and reading an article at the same time from someone across the world, or translating something on your, you never even thought about that. So we haven't even thought about the use cases that some of this stuff can be used and developed for. So the stuff we're hearing now, you're like, oh, that's dope, that's crazy. But 5 years, 10 years from now, we might not even have thought about whatever this could have done. So, we're still just scratching the surface, man. And, people, there's like what they said, 1% of the world has even heard of it, and even less than that is actually invested in this space, so it's like we're really looking at the new Googles and Facebooks and Amazons of blockchain, and we're trying to identify the ones that have real use cases and real solving of that use case. And, we're on the forefront of a technological revolution. So
True. All right, yo, here we go. I got a question. I'm about to throw a whole monkey wrench in the conversation. Especially you, Alex. This question is mainly for you. I want to hear your answer for this, and I want to hear Ross' answers for this the most. Facts. Since you on here, and you are a music artist, top 5 rappers of all time. I gotta ask you. I ain't never heard this answer.
Top 5 for me.
Top 5.
Top 5. Me personally, Jay, Lil Wayne, Kendrick, Pac, and Biggie.
Pac and Biggie. You know what? I'm super surprised you ain't throw Nipsey nowhere in there.
Nah, I mean, as a rapper, I mean, and it just comes down to impact. Your music as a. I mean, he was very much like Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that he just didn't have the mainstream success as that, but he's definitely my favorite. Are you saying my favorite rappers or people who I think are the top 5 rappers? Because favorites, Nipsey's up in there. But in me, I'm thinking like top 5 of the most established, high quality, consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so those 5 guys would be there. But I mean, Nipsey, man, he was an incredible person, more so than even a rapper. Someone I aspire to be like as a person. And, I think music is just a conduit for me of my passions and what, the beat's saying to me. I'm just a translator, but further than that, I want to use my music as a platform and GVO and all these things to change the world. And I think Digital Assets is doing that. And, I fully intend on being, very wealthy and through this space and other things that I'm doing to actually use that to further, my impact in that way. And I think that he was doing the same thing. As you knew, Nipsey was very involved in cryptocurrencies and researching. So,
that's true.
You can do so much with what you have. And if you could take, your interest and it aligns with something like this, where you can have, investments and at the same time something you're really passionate in. Most people don't invest like that. They're thinking, Google's a good, platform, or Facebook, or, these are good companies. Or I read about this, but you're not in depth and thinking about what the changes, what that company is actually doing, or what, these aren't just companies. This is the way value and information is going to be stored and transferred. Like the very basis of our fabric of our society, revolves around money and how information is moved. And so the very basic nature of that is going to change. It's like we're getting railroads. People are seeing a bunch of guys with steel buckets, and they're lining up railroads all across the country, right? And you're at 75% done. But people are like, why are you just laying on these railroads? I don't see any trains. I don't see anything. You're just an idiot. But so should that person stop, building these railroads because people say that? No, because once the rails are already done, these railroads are going to shift the way you can move anything across this country. So that's what's happening now. They're setting all this up. All these corporations in the background, they're understanding we need safety, we need regulations. All this is being developed so that when this goes, it's going to change the way everything works. And then if these companies don't adapt, they will die very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Yo, Fatty McButterpants, he was talking about, he said the financial world is quickly adopting Ripple technology.
Yeah,
man, I fucking hate talking about Ripple. But y'all know that.
I'm a Ripple fan, man. You know this. I like Ripple.
Man,
I'm
heavily in Ripple, XRP, and Cardano, ADA. I
Me
think
too. Actually, in both. I'm heavy.
I'm heavy, man, and it's because of the team that they have in place. It's because of the use case that they have presented and the solution they have presented. And so it's very simple to me. There's a problem and you can fix it and you can do it better than if you can do it faster than everybody else and reach a point of like terminal velocity, you're going to win. And
here's the stupid part. Like I deal with people literally across the world, and like even we'll go small scale, right? So I'm in New York and I deal with a couple people in Canada, and we'll do like projects together, right? And we have to send like an international wire transfer, right? And it might be a couple $1,000, it might be $50,000, $100,000 going back and forth. And like when we send the wire transfer, it's $100, $50, whatever, depending on the amount of money we're sending. So it's like a major expense with it, right? Like I look at that and I say, well, if I would just send that with Ripple, it would cost me, I don't know, 30 cents.
Yep.
And it's not that it's a huge amount of money in comparison to the amount of money being sent.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are we spending so much money on such a basic thing? Like you're sending a transaction from one computer to another. Why does this cost $150 to do? There's no reason for it.
Yeah, and that's exactly the problem. That's the use case, right? And
right.
Why are we wasting so much money and time? Why does it take 3 days and $25 wire fee? And
right. and it takes days. You're right. International. Yeah, I sent it this morning. It doesn't get there at minimum until tomorrow, and that's on a good day.
Exactly.
Most of the time, it's 48 hours, right? Yep. Domestic wire transfer happens. I send it at 8 a.m. They got it in their account at 8:10. Why does it take so long for it to happen across the border that I could drive 8 hours and go pick up the cash?
That's what Ripple and XRP are trying to target, because the way smaller banks, the way banking works. I mean, you probably know this, maybe you don't, but the way international banking works is called correspondent banking. So money is hopping around to all these banks to get to another point, and that every person, this middleman, is taking money. It's taking time, and it's inefficient. It's archaic. They use SWIFT system, which hasn't changed for 30, 40, 50 years. And
I think it's over 60 years SWIFT hasn't changed.
And the incumbents own it all. Like the top 10,000 banks own it, and the bottom 50, 60,000 banks basically have to use it because all the big players, they go through them. So that's another way of decentralizing that. Those small banks, if they can find ways to transact better and take up market share, they will. And then the big banks have to adapt or they'll die. And so
but they got no choice. Yeah.
No choice. Yeah. So if me and you can transact in a second on Cash App, why can't we do it internationally? Why can't we do that in a way that doesn't cost us a lot of money? And
I couldn't agree more.
And I think it's inevitable, man. The people they're meeting with, the people they're talking with, the Bank of England just announced that they're paying customer, and people are like, why isn't XRP going up in value? This is a very speculative and space that's in its infancy.
XRP's ever going to, like, I know we had the $3 thing last January, whatever it was, but like, it's not designed for that. There's what is it, like 100 billion? There's like a nonsense number of them.
10 billion.
10 billion. So like, there's no reason for it to jump in value. It's not designed for that. It's designed for the banks to be able to take it, and transfer it and then deposit it, and it's gone in that quick of a second, right? It's not supposed to be where people like take it and hold it. And granted, I'm a holder of it, so like while I'm saying this, I'm like, oh, I wish it goes up, but like it's a very stable currency, right? At 25.
Well, I think there's a lot of manipulation. I actually study charts, and I can see that almost 7 times in the last 3 months, when XRP started to rise over 7 to 10% before Bitcoin rose, Bitcoin bots automatically started up buying and rising a bit Bitcoin to start a jump before XRP did. And that way, people will start to buy into Bitcoin instead of XRP. This happened 7 times. There's a concerted effort by Bitcoin whales. They do not want XRP rising because XRP technology is being adopted at a fast rate. And if people start to realize these problems with Bitcoin, it may go up.
I have to jump in there because, I've been doing a little bit. I love XRP because I think they had some very fast network. Literally, you send it in a couple of seconds, you got it. When it comes to XRP, but XRP is just for the little man, and this is what I've been reading. I might be wrong, but this is what I've been reading out there. It's like, okay, you got your coin XRP, this is for the little man, and then you have XRapid, which is more of the next step up.
XRapid is
and the RippleNet, which it takes care of, like there will be like the Western Union type of guys in there.
XRapid is a protocol.
XRapid, and that's more of like a test case scenario that the company Ripple did to prove a concept for banks. And then above that, you have XCurrent, which is the real network, the real Ripple network that runs across the entire world with banks, major corporations. What the real bulk of the money is. So to me, when I'm reading all this research, I'm like, wait, hold up a second. Once this whole infrastructure gets put together by the bigger umbrella, the big company, Ripple, on the RippleNet, is it going to be a space for the little guy that is just investing on the XRP?
Well, yeah.
The reason why is like, it's like, okay, Carlos, I want to send you $100, like really small transaction, right? Like,
because I can send you money back and forth with a little next to nothing expenditure.
Right.
But from the investment, I guess it should have been more clear. From the investment point of view on this coin, what's the point?
So let me tell you. So listen. So you're generally right about what you're saying about XCurrent, XRapid, but XRP is a digital asset that is native to the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger is how XRP and almost any other asset, and even tokenized asset, real estate, anything, precious metals, can be tokenized and put on the XRP ledger, which is how the protocol, like you said, XRapid is the protocol that uses XRP to create these transactions. So XCurrent is a messaging system which replaces SWIFT. It is the messaging system that helps them, but it does not settle. It does not settle the transaction. They use XRP and XRapid. They use XRP to settle this transaction. And yes, people say, oh, it'll happen instantaneously. It won't go up in price. Well, the thing is, the more velocity an asset has, the more liquidity it creates. And the more liquidity it creates is the more valuable it will be to hold. So the way it works is, if I'm in America and I want to send money to the Philippines, I can go to my bank, and if they use XRapid, I give them $100, right? And they say XRP is $1. So I give them $100, and then they get 100 XRP. And that is a market maker that is in America. They transfer 100 XRP to another market maker in the Philippines who holds XRP.
You are completely right.
So now, let me finish. So in that case, the market makers are holding millions and millions of XRP so they can conduct these transactions.
For XRapid, but not XCurrent.
But they just upgraded XCurrent 4.0, which can now use XRP. So if you understand what RippleNet is doing, what they're doing is creating this whole web and infrastructure of all of these remittance companies, banks, financial institutions. They're even talking with the IMF. What they're doing is going to create, and they gave them the interledger protocol. And they said, you need a protocol that's interoperable, works with all blockchains, use this standards, ISO 20022. And IMF and all these institutions look and said, oh, this is great. It's open source. It works really well. And they started to adopt this. Why? And Ripple basically says the best technology will win. And they want everybody to adopt this protocol and say the best technology will win. And they know they have the best technology. So what they're doing is laying all the groundwork. And when they say, oh, XRP has regulation, we can now hold this. Market makers are going to buy this in millions of dollars in all these countries, and they're going to hold them and make the market. And they're going to make money at the tiny arbitrage spread between each transaction, because it only costs a cent to fractions of a cent. So if they charge 1 cent a transaction, it's still negligible to us.
So what I'm hearing from you is there's these two different
Ross's computer went to sleep.
Hey, my bad, guys.
No, that's not you. No, that was Ross's computer.
Hey, you fell asleep, dude? What's up?
Oh, what happened?
Everybody's coming back.
Yeah, everybody's coming back.
Rolling back in. Yeah, it was good, bro.
Go get it, buddy.
Okay.
It's too bad you don't have attorneys in your state. They could be working instead of you.
No. Of course we have attorneys. Title companies all have attorneys that work at their offices.
Yeah, no, we get it. Like we have like actual attorneys that do like the paperwork for us.
Of course we do. That's what title companies do, brother.
Yeah. Like, so we got title companies and then we got like separate attorneys in New York. It's like a whole process here.
No, dude. Like a title company. So Texas is a title company state, right? So
Right.
At a title company, they do everything. So they have the lawyers, the escrow officers. They handle everything.
Right. It's a one.
Yeah, buyers and sellers don't have to do anything but sign paperwork. When I say I got some stuff, I'm talking about I locked up a new wholesale deal and I'm working on the marketing material for it so I could get this thing sold. But yeah, no, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Come on, man. I'm selling something to a hedge fund, Matt. I think I told you about that.
You did. Yeah, a little bit.
Really, really interesting business model. Not to veer away from the crypto talk, but man, that's why I've been wanting to chat it up with you, Anthony, because this model is ridiculous.
Yes, I mean, listen, I hope they don't get hurt next year when the market flattens.
But so the model, right, is they're a marketplace and they have buyers, pre-qualified buyers all over the country, right, that are literally paying retail for rentals.
Yep.
Using the 1% rule and so on and so forth. But they're buying these things sight unseen, right? Yep. And I mean, we'll see what happens economically, but it's just
So we're still in a good market. We're still up,
It's madness.
3.2% quarter over quarter. It's good right now. When the market flattens and we're up, 0.2% in a year, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we've gone up for a long time. I think we need to flatten, and whether we go up or down from there, we'll see what happens.
Bro, Texas ain't going anywhere. Texas is immune. It's immunity.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Dude, Pasadena, Texas is immune. It's not. I'm not gonna say immune, but I'm gonna say it's very, very, very difficult for the economy to shift Pasadena to a market like Pasadena, Texas, drastically, unless oil tanks. If oil tanks and these companies like Exxon and them are doing big layoffs, then we definitely see the economic downturns come in. Lyndon just
I don't think we have a downturn coming. I really don't think we have a downturn coming. I think we had a flattening coming, and we'll see what happens from there. But we're in such a strong economy right now. It's just kind of out of control.
Bitcoin ain't flattening, bro. Bitcoin's on the come up. We're good, bro. All right. Lyndon just said no. All right. Let's see, Anthony. You started rumors, bro. The computer didn't go to sleep, homie.
Bro, your computer.
Yo, Fatty, Fatty is obsessed with open carrying. He talks about it every stream. Fatty, what is the
Is he from Texas?
What's the obsession? I need to know, Fatty, please. Every stream, Fatty has to remind us that he open carries.
We've been hearing about Fatty for a long time. Why don't you bring him in, dude?
Dude, Fatty is the man. Fatty is a freaking legend, dude.
Bring him in, man.
Yo, Fatty, you want to come on the stream one night, bro? Let us know.
Pop it in the chat.
Yeah, drop it up in the chat there. Yo, shout out to everybody watching on Facebook, man. I haven't even checked.
But yeah, I don't know if you're still curious about XRP, but it's there's a big misconception about that very certain thing what you said. If it transacts seconds, where's the value in that? But the more you read about it, if you're interested in it, you should really read about it, because the value, its use case. Think about this. Bitcoin's use case is store value, so it's totally different, right? So you don't need it to transact fast and do certain things, but XRP's use case is to transfer value at a near instant speed at a near zero cost. So don't think about who's holding it. Does that term have value for you? If you're a big bank, does that have value for you? I think it does. If you're a remittance company that's sending money to illiquid corridors, which Ripple has already identified across the world, they're not targeting USD to euro, a huge corridor with huge liquidity.
They're targeting USD to whatever the African currency.
No, you know what? You're completely right. There's a value there. I just didn't, reading, technical papers and everything. I just don't quite grasp, the difference between why do you have to have the X Rapid in this, one hand, and then you have to have the S Current on the other hand for big banks. You brought it out to home right here when you told me, hey, at the end of the day, someday in the future, these two are just gonna combine, and then XRP will have weight.
It's not really combining. They're all their own protocols.
Yeah,
they're not combining.
They're both on top of each other. They're connected.
It's not the protocol. It's the whole.
It's a software implementation. So it's the same protocol, but it's a software implementation. And Xcurrent does the actual messaging through the two. So but then the way it works now, they do messaging like Swift, and then they settle up. So, and this is another use case for XRP. So if you have to have Nostro Vostro accounts. So that means each bank that you're relationship with, you have to hold currency, their currency, which is foreign to you, at their bank. So then when you send money, it's taking out of that account. This is trapped liquidity across the world. Yeah. All banks do corresponding have to hold this money. And instead of that, you can have one market maker in every country, well, multiple, because it's going to be too many transactions, and they'll be holding all these pools of XRP, and they can tap in and send it as they go across instead of going through all these banks around the way and having to hold their liquidity. They said there's trillions of dollars in trapped liquidity. Is that not value in being able to unlock that? If you're Bank of America and you have $5 trillion in correspondent banks across the world, if you don't need to have that, you could hold one pile of XRP and you can use that to transact internationally. Eventually you will, if it's that much cheaper. And if you don't, and other banks do, you're
Not
going
only
to
cheaper, it opens up the cash flow, right?
Yeah.
You're able to put you don't have to hold all these different currencies anymore. You hold a single one that can be transacted into any other currency. And that's what makes it so valuable.
And eventually, market makers are going to hold this by the millions, because if they're making markets, they're just going to make a certain percentage of every transaction, which is very small, much smaller than we're paying now for wires and all these things. And the more people that hold it and use it for that, it's going to go up in value, because the same way people now are holding it and appreciating because they see the value in it, they're going to see the same thing. They're going to say, wow, these banks are going to use this for transactions. I can buy $10 million worth of XRP and be a market maker, and I'll charge 1 cent for every transaction that goes through. The more adoption that this happens, and I see charts all the time, small level remittances have been going up on a very pretty steady curve, showing that it's getting adoption, and that these, I think, 4 different remittance
Rob,
companies.
why is it just focused on me, by the way? Would you click me? What is this?
No,
I don't know.
it focuses on whoever's talking.
Yeah, it's
I haven't been talking.
Well, you're making noise over there.
You're making noises. You might be wheezing or something.
Might be the parrot. You got the parrot there?
Yeah, he's sleeping, bro.
I know, it's late
He's
night.
sleeping. He's sleeping
Wait.
right
It's weird though, cause it's not flipping to you, Alex. Let me see. There we go. It's on you now. Okay. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, no. And so, when people see that big banks want to use this, and Ripple, every day they're coming up with new partnerships. They've signed 4 of the 5 biggest international remittance companies in the world. And so what they're doing is with XCurrent, they're like, okay, I believe that once regulation hits, there's going to be nothing stopping them from adopting this technology fully, because now they're afraid that if they hold this currency, XRP, they may be, it may be illegal currently if there's no jurisdiction, if there's no regulations in place. So now that's why they've enrolled XCurrent, which does the settlement. I mean, does the messaging, but it doesn't do the actual settlement. And that's the problem when you have multiple currencies, and it requires trust. I have to trust this bank to do this transaction. But now when we're doing this in an instant, and it's with a country neutral currency, it's not controlled by different countries and having a variation of politics, basically. You know what I mean? It's happening instantaneously. It just has much more appeal. So once they get regulation, I believe that there are going to be many market makers that are willing to hold huge piles of this and just provide a market for it, that going back and forth. And so imagine now, if I want to do that and I'm making 1 cent a transaction, and the transactions are now going from 1,000 a day to 10,000 a day, you know how many transactions are in the world? There's billions of transactions. Now you're going to say, I want to start a market maker. I have $1 million. I'm going to buy $1 million worth of XRP, and I'm going to have link into XWrapper and let these companies go through me and make these transactions and charge 1 cent. And so that's what's going to happen. I really believe that they're laying all these rails and foundations for this to happen. And once regulation hits, market makers are going to be everywhere, because if they see the possibility to take profit, they're going to do that. And if that profit is less than what is being charged now to clients, the clients are going to start recognizing that and going there. So, for example, I was saying, for me, there is no internet back in Eritrea, my country. So if I want to send $100, which could last 2-3 weeks for my family, it's a lot of money to them. You know what I mean? So I have to give $5 to somebody here in America. Then he calls his partner, and he has a little paper book that he keeps track of, and he says, he's giving me the money. Now you take your $5 and you have $90. You're going to give that to his family. So that's a 10% cost to me. For $100, they took $10 of that. And I have to wait for confirmation of that. I have to trust him. It's a huge problem. Now, if that family has cell phones, I can instantly send them that for a fraction of a cent. Think about the middleman I'm cutting out and the speed that I'm operating in. That has a value. And so that value is going to be reflected in the things that it makes possible. So it's not like it's like, oh, it's worth this and it sits there. No, it's not really like that. But the velocity it creates is the value. That XRP can go 20 places in a minute. You know what I mean? So that has a value. And the more that's in movement, the scarce it's going to be, because that XRP cannot be used at that moment it's being transferred, correct? If there's billions of dollars happening, we're going to need many XRP.
Yes. You know what? Just 2 days ago, there was an article actually from the company. They said they were going to add I had it right here. 200 banks,
Yeah.
financial institutions to the XRapid network. You
Yeah.
know, which is driven by
XRP.
XRP.
Yes.
Like you're saying.
And I really believe that.
It was like I was like, oh, this is just a big jump on just the marketing strategy that the RippleNet has going on for themselves to bring some value to the network.
Yeah, and they've and the things that they said, they've been very transparent about the things that they're doing, and they've said it all along. We're going to implement Xcurrent because it mimics a lot of what they're doing now, but it's just more accurate. So they're saving them time and costs because of mistakes and accuracy, right? But they're doing that to get them used to being on RippleNet and transacting this way. Yeah, anytime they can flip a switch and they can say, hey, once regulation hits, they can say you will no longer be in fear of prosecution of any kind of thing, or you know what I mean? You won't have to worry about anything happening, but you can click this switch and you'll just be transactional XRapid. You won't even know what's happening in the background, but we can make it instantaneous and save you 90 or 75% cost. And if you don't do it, that other bank will. And eventually, markets always align, because if this bank can charge 75% less than you, I guarantee you, the guy that's sending $100 like me, and it's costing him 10% to get to his family in a poor country, he's gonna find the best way to get that $100, as much of it to his family instead of to the bank. That is 100% fact.
All right, so let me. I have a really good question, right? Because this is what I think about when I think about XRP.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so XRP. You think about banks that get on board and they want to use it. Okay, so let's say XRP is successful.
Okay.
They successfully implement this. This is a thing that most people are doing, right? And then basically these remittances are done at a complete fraction of a cost of what it costs now to do using a traditional bank, and it's rapidly faster.
Yep.
What does that mean for the banking world as far as the incentivized?
Oh, Andy's out.
For these banks, remittances. So when money is being sent cross borders, or it's being sent from one person to an individual, right? And they're getting a piece of this transaction and they're charging this chunk of a fucking fee, right? They all hop on the XRP train and then they go down that road, right? And assuming most banks do this.
Okay.
So why isn't it jumping to London right now? Because he's talking. This is like craziness.
What's going on? Huh?
No, it was. And like when we had that like cutout, everything changed.
Yeah. That shit was weird. Can you hear me?
It's working for me.
No, I could hear you perfectly. But like so on the actual YouTube chat, it's not jumping to you. We were looking at your buddy.
Oh. Yeah. Yo.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Yeah, it's stuck. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4, 5. Doesn't it supposed to
okay
whenever someone talks?
Yeah, it's supposed to go to the person that's talking. It's like really weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It wasn't doing that a minute ago. I noticed it right now. All right, on that note,
I'm gonna let you guys figure this shit out. I'll be back on Friday. I gotta be up at 6:30 in the morning. It's 1:30 now. So yeah, I'm gonna try and go to sleep. But I love you guys, and dude, it was nice meeting you, man. The rest of you idiots, I'll see you guys in 2 days.
Max, bro. 2 days.
Nice to see you, buddy.
Later, guys.
All right. Oh shit. Nah, but what I was saying is if everything works out the way XRP sees it, right? What does that really mean for the banking world? Where are they going to make up that money that they used to make before XRP came along? What about the banks that don't agree with what XRP is doing and want to keep charging people insane amounts of money and trying to centralize everything?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen, or what I believe is going to happen. Because, and it's the same thing I made about that allegory about the cruise ships, the yachts, and the small sailboats, right? So if there's a tsunami coming, call it XRP and block in the way to transact instantaneously, pretty much, right?
Right.
That's going to be a huge disruptor in this space. If you are JP Morgan, it's very hard for you to turn this huge shit. You have millions of employees, you have huge infrastructure, how many IT teams? You know, it's just huge undertaking, like a big bang go live, right? But it's just insane, right? It's hard. But now you have these small players. So right now, RippleNet has signed 4 of the 5 biggest remittance companies, but that's peanuts compared to what the central banks are transacting, and these huge JP Morgans, right? But if they are starting to transact, they're going to start taking market share. It's a simple fact. If I can offer a better product, eventually I will gain more customers. And when you get enough customers, the bigger players are going to know, and they're going to find out. So what's going to happen is going to be a massive disruption also to the way they operate. Why do they have thousands of employees and huge computer systems and all this stuff? They're not going to need that anymore. There's going to be a huge downsizing and reorgs in all these banking infrastructures. Even think about it now. How often do you go inside of a bank? You don't go.
Not often at all.
Often, right? Even if you can text, you can take a picture on your app. You go in there, you transact on your apps, right? So that's going to change. They're not going to have physical banks like that. Do you know T-Mobile? You guys see the T-Mobile money thing? T-Mobile's now offering you up to 3% for the first $4,000 you put in, and 1% after that, which is way more than you're getting in traditional banks.
Yeah. See, I think for me, the reason why I don't like XRP is because I see it playing out in one or two ways. Either one, XRP is gonna work, and then it's gonna basically go to war against the Federal Reserve, and they're gonna wipe XRP out one way or another, or they're gonna join it. And if the Federal Reserve is laying, I don't give a fuck who they laying in bed with. They're gonna be better off. They're gonna be better off than what they were before this happened, and everybody using this shit is going to be worse off than before we started using it, right? Because essentially now, even if from the visual perspective, everything we're doing is cheaper and faster, but if you think about all of the things that comprise blockchain, it's what it's made of right now, they're gonna have more control than they ever did, ever. Like that. That's why I don't fuck with XRP.
You're right on point. Remember when we were talking about hash graph?
Yeah.
I read an article the other day. It's hash graph. And I was just looking for a definition, because somebody asked me about it, and I'm like, let me send you this link, and then I was looking for some, links to send to this person, and when I'm looking and Googling, and I'm like, hash graph, at the glorified version of a blockchain, centralized Ripple.
That's exactly that's what I'm saying, and that's why I personally, that's why I don't fuck, because at the end of the day, right? Here's what I think. Anything that emerges, Bitcoin, XRP, anything, right? If the Federal Reserve is not on board, you can call Bitcoin a fucking a tornado. You can call XRP a tsunami. Yo, if that's what we're calling it, the Federal Reserve is fucking Mother Nature. They control everything. They control the whole atmosphere of how money moves.
Defeats the purpose.
And so I'm like, yo, XRP as a tsunami sounds great until the Federal Reserve, who controls how that fucking tsunami move, comes in and either wipes the fucking tsunami out or allows it to happen, which means they control the shit to begin with. And both of those options to me is either one, we're going to stay exactly where we already at, or two, we're going to be even more controlled than we ever were, but we're going to be worse off. And that's why I'm just like, I no matter, from the only way I fuck with XRP is from a completely trading perspective, meaning I can make trades based on technical analysis and make money off that shit. But I really feel like, because I feel like XRP is laying in bed with the devil and like, yo, just come and use our shit, while at the same time they don't necessarily have the approval from the devil to do what they're doing. So I'm just like,
no, you're completely right. The minute the feds get in there and
it's a wrap.
Cover the model, it's like, oh my God, this is a better model than what we had with paper, and now we can make trillions and trillions of dollars better than what we used to do it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just like, that's like, imagine every other altcoin coming in, or imagine Litecoin being like, all right, I'm gonna try to get every other altcoin that's really doing some shit to kind of try to come up against Bitcoin. They can try that, but the question is, how successful will they really be before Bitcoin is like, all right, it's time to play dirty now? Because think about it, with all the things that exist in the current blockchain, the things that can be done to manipulate it that aren't in the news, that people aren't talking about, 51% of tax, all this crazy shit, it would be really hard for me to believe that XRP would get to the point to where they're doing these large amounts of transaction for a large majority of the world, and the Fed isn't in control. Or if they're not in control, they can definitely do some really fucked up shit to basically be like, hey, XRP, yo, calm that shit down before we really take you out type shit. And that's why I'm just like, I can't see it playing out any other way.
I don't think the Federal Reserve is going to do any of that. Ripple is the international waters now. It's the U.S. has to adapt or die as well. If these other countries are basically saying we're going to start it's economic warfare at the same time. You know what I mean? Like if this country says we're going to go live on this, and it's going to save this much money and make your economy this much more efficient, you are going to be at a disadvantage if you don't do it. Is that not correct? And if other countries are doing that, but no country is going to transact in this currency that is controlled by the Federal Reserve, because of the escrow they have to the IMF to help control, because they want it to be an international body, because no country is going to transact with this thing if it's controlled by, you're right.
If you just do research, the Federal Reserve does control money right now.
No,
but I think that's not going to change. Like I can't see the Federal Reserve being like, you know what? Since XRP is here, let me just calm down and I'm gonna go ahead and let them handle this situation. Bro, there's nothing in the world that will make me to believe that the Federal XRP is going to make the Federal Reserve just be like, "No, I'm good." And that's why I say the only way
they've already been working with them.
Yeah, now, you know what?
That's scary. That's scary. If XRP is working with the Fed Reserve and they already control everything now, they're going to continue to control everything. Except now it's going to be worse because
but you know what? Ripple, you got to be careful with that, because Ripple is a U.S. based company.
Yeah,
There's export, laws they have to abide by it. So when they're trying to, export that technology across the world, there's some regulations they have to abide by, and hey, that's where it gets kind of dicey.
Yeah,
when it comes to, hey, should I just abide? But what's going on with the Fed, the Feds?
Yeah.
Or should I just go all the way out and be decentralized? Which they're not. They're not decentralized. That's my opinion. But how did they reach into the world market without breaking U.S. laws?
Well, because there is no law, and that's why people are waiting for regulations. And
no, there is a law. They have the technology, and there is a law in the United States that said you cannot export technology of certain, areas.
Oh yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, certainly. But based on I get what you're saying. Yeah, based on the locations, not you can't transact with certain areas, certain countries.
Yeah, there's laws in place that you cannot export technology from the United States and to the rest of the world. And
but I mean, I think
those laws. I mean, Facebook has it. Google has it. They cannot. There are certain things that technologically speaking, they cannot sell to China.
No, I agree with you, but at the same time, this is why they've created Interledger Protocol, the ILP. They've helped develop ISO standards like 20022. What they're doing is creating national. It's not nationally agnostic, Federal Reserve agnostic currency. They've created a ledger protocol that isn't governed by governments, is not, so that way more governments will adopt it, because now it is not being controlled by one government. And that's what I mean by it. America can create laws and this and that, but the rest of the world doesn't abide by that. So if the rest of the world starts adapting this technology and this protocol, America is going to be left behind.
Yeah,
and that's why.
No, I got you. But the United States, the Department of State has, what is that called? ITAR. It's control international traffic regulations.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to technology.
Yep.
And it involves every single sector. It involves military, involves banking, involves information technology, involves every area that we have a hand on science and technology. and we do not, some things there, when it becomes, basis of national security, we do not export that to other countries. What is there to say that Ripple has this great technology, banking technology, that, hey, yes, you got this great thing that can grab the world by the balls. We're not crypto chat, so it doesn't matter. And you cannot
get around that. And that's why it's very clear to distinguish between what is their technology and what is the protocol they're developing. If you know the internet, it's on the ICP-10, whatever the protocol the internet runs on, HTTPS, etc. Those are proprietary information. That is the groundwork and the protocol that the internet itself runs on, the World Wide Web, right? That they created with the Interledger Protocol and these ISO standards. They're helping regulation bodies and the IMF and all these governments get a standard across all these countries internationally. It is not the technology. This technology is open source, and it is, it's being community developed and adopted, just like the internets. Because imagine if we had all different internets in every country, we couldn't talk. It's no point, right? So that's the garden. And so what they're doing is creating an open garden across the world and saying, adopt this standard if you think it's the best. And they've helped develop that, and they know it's the best. So they've developed this standard and saying, adopt it, and then the best asset may win. Because like I said, on XRP Ledger, IOUs for gold, for real estate, anything that can be tokenized, any kind of asset can transact on this, not just XRP. But XRapid uses XRP specifically as its native token. But this whole technology they're creating, it's more standards and protocols that they're creating for the entire world. So then if the world is adopting this standard and way to operate, like just imagine a website. If we're all operating on the same website, you can make whatever website you want. But now if you have a technology that makes a website better, maybe that's the technology you cannot, export or use, right? And that would be XRapid. But the actual Interledger protocol and the ISO protocol that they've created is not technology that they created. It is helping them develop a standard. And once that standard is developed and accepted, they're basically saying, we believe our technology and our asset will win.
Yeah. I feel like that makes sense, but I feel like that, even though that is what is being said and that's kind of being what's pushed, I don't think that that's real. I think that that's the pipe dream of it, right? The idea is that, hey, we're creating this, it's decentralized, everybody is a fair player. But I mean, if you really think about it, there is not a single aspect of anything in our society that is based on that's actually being ran successfully with that model. So it's like, why would we really think XRP would come in and change that up completely? I really feel like that's a pipe dream, because at the end of the day, right, we can talk about the internet, right? The internet, for example, you can't necessarily control the internet, right? But there are absolutely companies that determine when you get internet, right? There's electricity companies that dictate if you can use the internet, because you have all of these other things that come into play when it comes into how the internet works. There's definitely ways within it, P. And when I hear banks and I hear about all of these banks trying to adopt the protocol, and because it's blockchain, even though they say it's decentralized, let's keep it 100. Blockchain is centralized. It's just less centralized than the current system we use. So if you really think about that and take that into account, what they say when they talk about, okay, let's create something for everybody, it really is kind of a pipe dream. It's an idea that sounds great, but it can't be executed exactly how it's supposed to.
I will have to go back to regulations. I talk too much about this, but when it comes to military, we had our standards here, and what we think it is legal here, Britain, which is one of our partners, allies, has completely different regulations and laws when it comes to information technology and information sharing, across countries.
No, you're absolutely right.
The same applies to Belgium. The same applies to Australia. And they're all Germany, and they're all allies to us. There's single own policies within what you can do with this intellectual property, which it comes to, you call it, internet, cryptocurrencies, whatever you want to call it. They got their own little pockets of legalities. Now, there was there was the W3, I think it was a W3C internet standards, or before that, I think it was the international. Oh gosh, let me look it up real quick.
Yeah.
International Engineer Task Force, which brings, like Dude was saying, it's like it brings these are standards that we can work with across the entire world.
Yep.
And then we can bring some cohesion, some understanding across technology, across the entire world, that we can all talk together and be in the same page when it comes to the internet, when it comes to anything that rises on top of the internet.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's open free for everybody.
Yeah.
What that means is like, yes, we all can talk, but hey, guess what? There is some borderline rules that applies to each country.
Facts.
And technology that's being developed here in the United States might not be the same technology being developed in Europe. And believe me, Europe, you go to Germany, you go to Ireland, you go to God, who was telling me the other day? Croatia?
Yeah.
They have opened the market when it comes to internet to develop this crazy computer science environment to open the market to cryptology. But guess what? What they're developing over there, those things follow the same rules and regulations that we have in the States. So when you're trying to couple both together, we're like, shoot, this doesn't work here.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
Just like today I saw something. Debit cards for cryptocurrencies in Britain. A lot of people are going crazy because now they have these debit cards. They're tied up to their crypto wallets, and they can start using them in stores, and spending their money like they were regular credit cards. Ask me if you can get one of those credit cards. I mean, those debit cards here in the United States. No, you can't.
Yeah. So now I agree with what you're saying, but I want you to take a step back and listen to what I'm saying too, because they're not trying to develop, like you said, it's not legal here, what's not legal there. They're trying to, and this is why Ripple's been in meetings with the IMF, with central banks, with the reserve banks, like with the JP Morgan, all them guys make it seem like they're headed, but no, they realize what's going on, and they're trying to create the standard. So when you go to a website right now, you go to HTTPS, _, right, and you put the website. That's how we're securing the internet. That's a protocol on the internet. That's not a technology that's proprietary to any country. When the internet was developed, the people who were developing this across the world said, we have to have one unified method for us to do this. Otherwise, we're not going to be connected. And so what Ripple is doing, they're helping develop that method of connectivity that everybody's going to adopt, which is not a technology that they're proprietary. It's open, and all people can edit it, and we can come on consensus on how the way they want to use it. But what they're doing is presenting this template, and they're saying, we think this is the best way to transact. What do you think? And more countries are agreeing that is the best way. And once you get consensus, that technology will be the groundwork where proprietary technology will be used to hook into that. So this make a website.
No, I got what you're saying. It's trying to develop the market, and we're in the very baby steps type of environment.
Exactly. We're baby steps.
And
many of these
Ripple is just one of many.
Yeah, of course. But what they're trying to do is create this inner ledgers. They're trying to make it so that different ledgers and blockchains can interact with each other. And so that's where it comes into proprietary information. Ripple's blockchain may be proprietary. Ethereum, this one may be proprietary. One in the future may be proprietary, right? But if they can all transact on the same protocol and interact with each other, now we can have VeChain, which is for supply management. We can have that on a certain value pegged to versus XRP, which is not even used for anything nearby. It's used for remittances. But because of all these protocols being able to interlock and communicate in a certain platform, that will make everything much more fluid and more velocity for our liquidity. You can have, so now something that's used for supply chain, you're like, oh, this literally has a value like money, but it's not money. It's just a value. Money is just an arbitrary term that we use for bartering. You know what I mean? And so VeChain has a value because of supply chain, what it does for that. And whatever value we deem for that in the market, you can also transact that against the value for XRP, which does a different use case. But since they're all on using interledger ILP, and that's an international protocol that has been adopted, ideally, that's what they're trying to do, everybody can talk and transact with proprietary information, like you're saying, which they may not be able to use in another country. But I can still connect to the interledger protocol and transact in another country through that with their proprietary information.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
You're right on this. Like, you have to develop the standards so everybody can,
exactly.
It even have to be different standards as long as you have to integration between all of them.
Yes, integration, and that's what they're trying to do. Interoperability. That's the number one goal they're trying to have because they're trying to connect the world to each other. So,
but does nobody else find that to be scary as fuck?
Yeah, no, all this is scary. You know what I'm saying? If it's not implemented the right way, it could be dangerous. But if it's implemented in the right way and people we are able to understand, we'll have more control of our lives. We'll have more ability to like I said, we might even need a bank in the future. You know what I mean? You could invest in the right currencies, and Lyndon, in 2 years you could be a multimillionaire. You could, and you could hold your own assets and control how that asset is used. You know what I mean? And you have much more liberation. You don't have to rely on a third party to do that. And you can even do microloans. You can create your own business. Different businesses from that directly, and using smart contracts on XRP or Cardano or other ones that are coming up. You can make a contract, Lyndon, where we can say every month if XYZ happens, then you'll pay me this much money. Now imagine if we had a contract now and you didn't pay me. What we have to do? We have to go to court, go to our lawyers. We have to go through stuff. Nowadays, it's on the blockchain. Whatever happens, if these parameters are met, it occurs the transaction that we've already agreed upon.
Yeah.
Do you see like Fatty?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Fatty just said. Fatty just said, Alex, that he literally just tipped you some XRP with the tip bot and shit.
He's hilarious, man.
Yeah, Fatty's cool as shit. Yeah, he's super cool.
That's dope, man. Yeah, and there's a lot of use cases for XRP that are not just Ripple. R3 is another company that has millions of Ripple that they're creating relationships with banks and financial institutions. They invested like 10 million or something XRP into video game space. So right now, when you play Fortnite and you have all these skins and stuff and you're using the V-Bucks, they're trying to get into the same space because now they're going to connect, that V-Bucks has some kind of value. It may not be $1, whatever.
Wait. Who's a Fortnite freaking crazy here, man? You are?
Nah,
I'm not. I've played it a couple times, what I'm saying? I like the game, but I'm not crazy about it.
Ross is. Ross, I thought you were like a Fortnite.
I don't know if he is. He just tapped out.
Yeah.
He went to bathroom break.
Yeah. I'm also gonna head out of here too, man. I got to get up in the morning, but
Hey, what? Hold up. I thought tonight was gonna be kind of like a Saturday Night Live, show. You were gonna freaking come out and freaking give us a big show, dude.
Your performance, man.
Yeah, that would have been lit. Do a live stream of a whole performance. That would have been lit. That would be crazy.
Maybe we say that for Friday, dude.
Yeah, you have to do a cappella.
Yeah, that would have been lit.
You having me, man. Like I said, this is a very exciting space. I read about it a lot. And it's good to see that more and more people are getting excited about it and learning because people just have to go through the same steps that we're doing. Try to decipher what's going on. Try to pick the technology that's going to win. You know what I mean? And then understand the next steps even of that because. We don't even know how this can be implemented in many ways. We're just scratching the surface. So, people like us who are seeing this and, may gain more financial freedom and ability to do things more, you know what I mean? So when you start to figure out, I can do this, and now have more financial, freedom based on the things that we're investing in. Because I see this space is going to really bubble. It has a lot of value and just in general, all together, all a rising tide, rises all boats. So, if certain coins are doing really good, it's going to bring attention to the space. And then other coins that didn't have enough attention or, people will start looking at them and then they can create something great. So, it's really cool, man. It's really things going on, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you having me on. Carlos, it was great talking to you, man.
Hey, you're great, dude.
Yeah, man, good vibes only, man. You guys keep it up, man. Keep informing people, keep people talking about this stuff. And, I'll be putting in.
You already know, man.
All right, my man. Good one, you guys.
All right, bro. Take it easy, bro.
Take it easy. Good night.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, what? So what happened? Ross just went to sleep or something?
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy stuff going on with the tech, man. We was even trying to, man. It's a bunch of weird shit going on. I don't know if it's just tonight or
Is
what,
it tech?
bro.
Oh, there's back. There it is.
Yeah, it's a bunch of weird stuff going
Can you
on,
hear us,
man.
man? Ross, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Ross? Oh, okay. Oh, he grubbing. He grubbing. What you got? What you got?
Oh, don't tell me you're freaking hitting the Pizza Hut, man.
He got the pineapple. He got the pizza with the pineapple on it for sure.
Pineapple.
For sure.
So
He's
hey,
like-
I gotta ask, dude. You hit the gym today, right? You get podcast, on Facebook, and I was like, that's freaking badass. Like, don't put people down. Freaking prime them up. You remember we were talking about that today?
Yeah.
That was bad, dude. That was bad. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Too many haters. Wow. Yeah. Do you see on yours? Do you see a white box around any other pictures right now? Damn, but it's still doing it. That's crazy. What?
Tony fucked that up. That's
Yeah. Facts. Facts. Hey. That is insane, dude. Oh yeah. Fact.
I gotta go save the world tomorrow, man. Yeah.
Yo, gotta go fight Thanos. Facts. Yes. Is yeah. It's yeah. Monday, I cried myself to sleep.
This whole time, nobody could even hear me. My mic was turned off. Actually,
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it serious?
Yeah. And with that being said, guys, have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you later. I'm Ross Alex, and I'm joined here with...
Hey, Lyndon, a.k.a. the Crypto Bully. You already know.
Carlitos.
And Carlitos.
Yes, correspondent.
We'll see you later, chat. See you on Friday.